Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to another episode of Downtime in the Hangar, where we talk about all things GBO2 and sometimes other stuff. So, today I'm joined by Gustav the 13th
Yep.
and Gaming Emblem. Who's your all's weeks?
Sorry, I was being an asshole. I was waiting. I was hoping to actually like respond to me not saying anything.
Yeah, I was kind of like,
I was waiting. I was gonna go off of our pre-podcast. I thought I was EG Magnum now, but
You
just,
lost
like,
to your
with
own
it.
conscience.
I know, man. You just rolled with it, and I couldn't like mess around with it at all. Like, nothing was like moving, asshole moving right along. Hey guys.
Oh shit!
I noticed it though. I will
Already
say.
derailed.
Oh man.
I know. Sorry.
Okay.
I
So
went too far.
So this is where we edit and post
Hey, guys.
or reset.
Rip.
Okay. But
No,
anyway,
keep going. We're good.
Okay. So how was your week, Emblem?
We're starting with me. Fine. The internet's back up and working, which is fantastic. I'm no longer EU Emblem. I'm
For
just
now?
for now, yeah. I'm back to being family fun, normal Emblem. Not saying that EU Emblem isn't family fun, whatever. But it's nice to not have to be on it in between hours of 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. So feels good, man.
Well,
What
my
you
week's
just-
actually been alright. It's been a little slow with deliveries, but we've been doing a fair amount of stuff with GBO2 and also trying to get in there for some Yakuza 0. So that's been fun to try to get further into.
I saw you playing that.
Yeah, I got the whatever. Like, I think it's the first game redone or whatever. I need to get
So
started on that.
it's a prequel to the first game, and then they started doing everything else in the newer engine.
Yeah,
That's like Kiwami going up.
that's what.
So I have Kiwami, and that's the next one. So I want to try to finish this up before I move on.
Would you say that's probably the better way to go about it? Is going 0 and then Kiwami? Or
If you have the time, then yeah. If you've already played the older ones and you just want to see everything in the newer engine, then you can skip it. But I think 0 is really fun. It's a good introductory.
I have to see if I can get that then before I start on Kiwami. But
Just to understand that like Yakuza games in general are very involved, and they have no shame about wasting hours of your life.
Fantastic.
I love the little
The
mini
game
games.
looks like it's awesome mini games.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's like a lot of shit, and like literally, when it comes to streaming it, you'll just constantly run into stuff because the overworld it feels big, but it's not really. But it works because everything's tight enough that you're constantly running into sub stories, so you're always finding like random stuff to do, even if you're not going straight for like the stationary mini games.
What's the one that they had that they come out? It's a new series entirely, where you're like a lawyer.
Judgment.
Judgment. That. Yeah, I've been wanting to check that out at some point
right?
too.
He's like a prosecutor turned like investigator or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing
I think I
about
saw
it.
that game.
Like the mini game I want to play in it though is the drone racing.
But like imagine you are just chasing a Yakuza character, essentially. All the crazy shit that a Yakuza character does, and you just get there in the aftermath to do like the investigations while having like your own drama. That's like what Judgment is, more or less.
I was kind of worried it'd be like Star Wars. As soon as Magnus said pod racing, I just
No.
like, hold on, what?
No, drone racing. Now that's
Drone
what
racing.
I call drone racing.
No, my bad. Drone racing, still Star Wars.
No, I mean it feels like pod racing pretty much. Like that's what I wanted. I just want to do all the races.
It's funny because 0 actually has RC racing. You know those little tracks
saw
that they
that. That
have,
looks
like
so
fixed
fun.
track. I got way too into that. Like I spent a long time doing those races.
Those things are awful, man. Like it's just like I'm convinced Final Fantasy X is a sports simulator.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if they ever did like an honest to god chocobo racing like game, and like even if they put it on mobile, people would play that all day.
I think there are chocobo racing games already. Like
I know
thought there was one.
Chocobo
I'm
has
thinking
its
of
own
Chocobo Dungeon.
series. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I think of when I think about Chocobo related content. But like, if they just took out like the actual like breeding and racing them and just made that a thing, kind of like chow races and stuff, like they could make bank.
Shall we-
I
That'd
remember
be fun.
that. Oh, I love that. Sonic 2, Sonic Adventure 2. Yes. I had
Everyone's
one.
racing addiction in that game.
I had one, and then so when I got the game out and we turned it on after years, like I go and I'm like, yeah, here's this, and here's heaven and here's hell, and then here's the one. Where's he at? No,
Oh
he didn't
no!
die. Where's he at? So yeah, I was
I
like,
want that Tails Chow.
I was really sad. But they also did the Fist of the North Star, kind of like Yakuza game. I kind of
Yeah,
want
I've heard
that one
about that
too.
one.
I guess the guy that voices Kenshiro in that is actually the main character for Yakuza, Kiryu.
Oh,
It's the same VA
that's
in
pretty cool.
Japan.
But yeah, there we go. We tangented. So yeah, is that
We
pretty
got
much
a
your
little
week?
bit of an honor system. Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Okay. And then mine has been doing pretty much Monster Hunter World Iceborne. So that's been pretty legit. I was pretty scared starting off. Like the first monster they throw at you is pretty much just like a reskin monster, and I'm like, and it even has the same Totus name. Like the first
Mhm,
version of it you fight in the base game is like Jiro Totus. Now it's
mhm.
like I can't even remember what it starts with, but it's something Totus. Anyway, it's an
It's
ice
Ice
version.
Lotus.
Yeah, it's ice Totus, and yeah, and I'm just like, it's an ice fish, woohoo! And then you see, I saw another thing that looked like the thing, the rockhead thing that you
Yeah,
from
I
the
mean,
base
like
game.
Gyro Totos is actually based off another thing called the Plesioth from like the older games,
Oh, really?
as it is. Like
That
you ever see it stand up and it's got like that dummy thick tail and it's just like on two legs. Like it used to be like that, except it would come out of water as opposed to like burrowing in like shallow water or like mud.
oh, okay. So yeah, the like pretty much I was calling it Loch Ness there for a little bit. I
Yeah.
was playing with Chad,
Or
and
like a good example is like they brought back the Tigrex, right? And
yeah,
then
pretty cool.
the ice version is the Barioth. It's pretty much like the same form factor. So they have different versions like that. Or the there's one that's in the jungle. It's called like the Nargacuga or something like
Yeah.
that. It's
So
supposed to be like extra mean.
when I got to that point though, like
Mhm.
those felt each of those fights though, the Nargacuga, the Tigrex, and the Barioth, they all had
Mhm.
their own ways of attacking, which was really
Yeah.
cool, and they looked different enough to be kind of different.
They went out
So
of their way to give them a lot of character because some of them were like flagship
yeah.
characters for other older games.
So my issue kind of comes with like which I mean, good news is I was pleasantly surprised after my first impressions of it. I was like, oh no, are we gonna have like very few monsters to actually that are new? And then finally, it was just like, oh, here's all these, pretty much the ones you went over, and they
Mhm.
were all different mechanics, all different fights. So like the T-Rex is very aggressive, and you could just slam it into the wall 400 times and just
Yeah,
make it
and they're all
hit its
returning
head.
characters.
Yeah.
Like Tigrex got introduced, I think, in Freedom Unite a while back.
So, I mean, I guess technically they're returning in that case, but for a lot of people that I know
Seeing
that
it in this
play,
engine, it's really cool.
yeah, like a lot of people just got into Monster Hunter because of this game. I have one on the PSP, but that's about all I've done with Monster Hunter. So I've been really
Mm.
curious to know exactly if there's anything in this story that, fans of like the older games would be like, "Oh, this," or any kind of shout outs to that. That's one thing I've been curious about. But yeah. So far, pleasantly surprised. I'm just kind of worried because I went ahead and tried to do a little bit of farming, and it completed the bar that I had to fill up for research.
Mhm.
And so I've kind of been spoiled, not on stream, about what I'm fighting next, and it's Val Hazak. It's an Elder Dragon that's
Mm.
like a variant though. So I'm like, okay, well they're gonna have a Nergigante that's a variant, and a Val Hazak that's a variant. I'm just worried that they're just gonna do all variants of the normal Elder Dragons and not too many new ones.
Yeah,
So
I mean
we'll
the
see.
Elder Dragons are about as dragony as you're gonna get too,
Yeah.
because they're all gonna be flyers. They're all gonna have like their own unique stuff going on. The one for this apparently just freezes everything,
Yeah,
so that's
that I
gonna be
just I just did that fight. That's pretty cool. And turns out, okay, well I kind of might have just dropped a slight spoiler, but it's not the end of the game. So I was kind
No.
of happy that that's not the end of the game.
That's the cool thing about
Like,
Monster
come on,
Hunter.
Han Solo
Anytime that
dies.
you, oh god, anytime you think it's over, it's not.
Yeah,
Like
so
the big bad for like a couple moments will end up being eclipsed by something else.
but yeah, I'm looking forward to jumping into the Elder Dragons. I'm hoping there's more though that just repeats. That's gonna be my one complaint.
And I'm sure they'll do more like Iceborne related updates going forward too.
And I think we're what, like 5 months behind PlayStation, something like that, for PC players. So
They caught up with all the events leading up to it. Didn't they like just cram them all into like one space at a time, like an event crunch?
pretty much. I mean, they I guess they were doing those anyway, but so I don't know if we're ever gonna actually catch up. But so I don't know if the raid's actually coming out for Iceborne anytime soon though. So I know that adds another like Elder Dragon, but that's something off in the future. So
So yeah, I didn't have the patience to wait, and on top of that, there was all that shitty optimization issues that were coming on early on in its release on PC, so I just never bothered.
again, my biggest
I just have
problem
it on PS4.
my biggest problem is the control change. Like you have to remap your entire controls. Like they changed everything. The only thing that still works the same is WASD, left click and right click. That's it. Everything else got changed. So all the menu
That's a
options,
mess.
like you would hit C to sort, now it's like tab.
Oh,
Every control got changed except for the, like I said, moving around and your basic attack and your alternate attack or whatever you want to call it. I've been
this
having
can
people ask on my like YouTube video that I made about it, like, how do you use a bow? Like, what is this mouse button? And what I'm afraid of is like they actually put mouse 4 and 5 as a like button that you have to have now. Like I know plenty of people who don't
Yikes.
have a mouse 4 or a 5 button on the side.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, so I think they just made it to where you have to have that or use a controller or rebind it. I mean, that's going to
I'll
be the
be
option.
honest, like I'd probably just slap my PS4 controller in there if I ever got it for PC.
But you should be able to rebind that one though, at least. But that was
Yeah,
the
probably.
and some of those controls though are actually better in my opinion. So that's cool that they're better. But the thing is, I've already spent 2 or 3 months playing there on the base game, learning one way to play. And then so apparently if you change range though, it also affects melee. But anyway, so yeah, that's the biggest PC complaint that I've heard overall. But
So since they're doing a shift to cold stuff, have they added the cold climate GM to Monhun yet? It would fit right in with the Winterborn thing.
Real talk, if they ever did a Gundam crossover,
oh
that'd
my
be amazing.
gosh, I mean they do a lot of crossovers. They've already done like they have like a Dante outfit from Devil May Cry. They have
I'm still using
Final
the
Fantasy.
alloy set, so that's pretty neat from
Yeah.
Horizons or whatever.
Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah, that's pretty
Yep.
legit. Yeah, so that would be awesome if they did a Gundam crossover. That would be amazing. Game of the year right there.
I'm just saying, we recently got more elaboration on the Gundam Hello Kitty crossover.
I was
Got
gonna say,
another animation for that.
yeah, somebody link me that in
I saw
chat.
the first one.
But
I was hoping to see Hello Kitty Gundam in base camp at some point.
That needs to be a thing, or get like another arm huggy little thing.
That'd be cool. I'd run around Hello Kitty.
but
Special like chibified Gundam helmet or whatever. Just
So-
saying, jot these down if there's anybody listening. from the
anybody
devs
listening,
here.
yes, these are fantastic ideas. Like people will pay money.
Monetize your game in goofy ways. You'll be surprised.
But yeah, that's pretty much been my week. Again, though, I will say this: as much as it sounded like I was complaining there, though, probably, if I had to rate the game, it would definitely be a really high score. Just, I don't know how much I'm gonna dock a point off if they don't have enough Elder Dragons and cool fights.
And I mean that's been the complaint for World since day one.
Yeah, well, I mean, the biggest thing with the
people ran
base,
through that content so fast.
well, like you go from low rank to high rank, and high rank is just the same thing without any new mechanics, which is that's where everybody started complaining on the grind. And I saw on Reddit when I was making my post about the controls, there was people talking about grind already, and it's like, okay, well, there's a grind, but you have it's because if you get straight into the game and don't push the story, they're like, okay, now go kill. Like if you look at your optional quest, it's literally kill pretty much everything in the game again at master rank.
Yeah.
And so I guess people are just doing those optional quests rather than pushing the story for the new
Could
stuff.
you imagine if GBO2 had like prestige?
Oh no, that would be like, okay, restart with no parts and everything else.
Oh, that'd be
Oh
wild.
god,
I can't
they
even
can't.
fathom.
They better
You
not take
get
my
all
mobile
your
suit.
suits have a golden suit. Well, I could already do that.
You get
This
it.
is
You
official.
get an even shinier golden suit.
This has got special coating on it. Now you just don't get hurt by beams at all.
I'll prestige down.
But Dual prestige, good luck. You can have that.
Man, if I can get invulnerability to beams, heck yeah, I'll dominate.
Especially
people
high
would just
cost.
stop
Like this
using
is just
beams.
beam the
Yeah.
game. Yeah, they would. It'd just go full ballistic.
Mhm.
But anyway,
Oh.
so yeah, first topic I guess. Galbaldi beta. Anybody?
AKA suit I don't have.
I was gonna say anybody get it.
Right. No bald guys here. I'm sorry, I'm more of an alpha. I don't deal with beta.
It's interesting though, because I was in a match earlier that it was actually an alpha and a beta that were just kind of hanging out with each other.
Mm.
And they worked out pretty well.
I have to say,
Because like,
To stabby boys.
yep.
I think it might be like, yeah, of course it's higher cost, but I think it actually might be an improvement over the Galbaldi beta or alpha.
It's an improvement over the Tetra because now it actually has a second swing on its downswing. Where the Tetra just kind of juts out and moves forward like, huh, I feel like I'm forgetting part of my attack. The beta just like, oh yeah, that's right. I can do 2 swings. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, and the missile shield though for that stagger, that's pretty legit. I mean, you got to hit 2 instead of just hitting a Sturmfaust, but you still have
I've
the
seen
double
it
dodge.
used to dubious effect, but like its beam rifle in general just seems more reliable. I feel like we're just gonna get to that point where like, oh yeah, it's another beam rifle, cool, whatever. Like it doesn't really matter. But it's because it's just so effective. Decent output, immediate stun. Just going right into melee.
Does it get double dodge roll like the alpha does?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's not bad.
I mean, it's the
Seems like
second.
a nice kit to me.
Like, I still feel in this regard that the Rick Diaz is probably better, but I still feel like nobody really takes like effect of the or advantage of the double tackle that the Rick Diaz has.
Mm.
And I
It
don't know.
uses up a lot of thrust though, so it might be kind of hard to do. Like if you thrust at all, you're pretty much overheating on the first tackle.
I think it's also
should say.
just
Okay.
I think it's also just because people aren't willing to risk not having any thrust if they actually don't get a counter off in those 2 tackles.
Yeah, I guess
So
that's true.
kind of letting it be. They'll get away with the first one and then just use the rest to get away from whatever it is they tackled unsuccessfully.
Well, I would more look at it as a bait thing. Like if you know
Yeah.
somebody's got their sword out and you are below 20.
See if they don't realize, like,
yeah.
But I didn't realize it
Just
took that
tackle
much.
them and then yeah, it's 80% if I remember right.
And then like what double dodge roll is like what 60 to 70, something like that.
I can't remember exactly how much.
it's getting to the point where I'm just like rubbing my suit up against other people's suits to try to bait their tackles. Like, oh, why is he just moving towards me? Oh, no.
This mobile to give me a lap dance. What's going on here?
But every once in a while, they'll nut up and be like, "Oh, he's gonna swing," and then they just like jut their whole body at me. Like, well, so much for that.
There are some people
Now you're
who
done.
don't tackle at all. Like I've like literally been at them with like beam sabers, just like getting in their face, and they will not tackle at all. And it's like, dude, do you ever tackle? Like I would literally just like whack at them, and just like punch was like, oh, I guess I should have just hit this guy.
Yeah.
There are just some people that don't tackle.
Like I would have been over this a long time ago otherwise.
For real though, I've had that too. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get him this time. I just run at the guy, and I'm like, okay, well, I just died by not just swinging. And the next time I'm just like, YOLO, downswing. And then he
That
still
makes a
doesn't
good
tackle.
point. Always swing first, make them respect you. I just need to demand respect from my opponents first and foremost. Set the ground rules. Like I'm going to swing at you, and you will use your tackles so I can murder you.
Yeah, if you do it that way, then the second time you do it, then you can bait. That is probably a good idea.
So this is a little rough. I'm assuming like none of us had this suit.
Yeah, pretty
Absolutely not.
much. But as far as it goes, though, I feel like it has like playing against it. I mean, it's a general, but again, the double dodge roll and the immediate stagger is a pain as a support.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, stuff like that's always pretty good.
I always can't stand fighting alpha in the first place. Like, I'll have alphas outplay me sometimes, and then now with the beta in there, like same thing. But
It could definitely be rough. Just being able to follow up with a second roll, or even like a roll into a tackle, is always pretty relevant. So it'd be interesting to see.
and just the double dodge roll itself, like you can just roll and
Mhm.
then boost a little bit and then tackle. Yeah, it's you can really get around with that.
It's interesting because when it first came out, it was very middling in terms of people's reaction. It was like, well, it's another typical Zeta suit. That'll be fine. But like once we start getting into the nuance and the fact that it can do a lot more with its roles and stuff, people are finding a lot more utility. Like a week or so later, and they're actually pretty much just stuck in at their cost.
I think too, the suit will have might have a little more staking power. I think the ball guy alpha is a nice suit to play.
Mhm.
I think some of the problems with it is just as a kind of a wide hitbox because it's leaning a little more into the Gelgoog side of things with
It's a little
like how big
thick.
it is. Yeah, but the beta on the other hand is a little bit more slim, so that might help it out some too. Its hitboxes are pretty relevant. The shield's smaller, but everything about it is kind of more compact, and I think that'll help out a lot.
Speaking of that, I did not realize how big the Dom Barrage actually is till I made that
It's a
like
it's a fat boy.
example um like overlay, and like
Hmm.
the Zaku cannon I had over on the side, and then here's like the you know Dom Barrage taking up this much space, and the Zaku cannon's like, yo, what's up? So like I was like, man,
Swole Chad Zaku Cannon next to pale, skimpy other mobile suits.
but yeah, Dom Barrage is thick.
It's a big boy.
But yeah, anyway, so I guess any other thoughts though on the beta? I mean, again, the only thing I'm curious about is to see how it compares to like the Diaz, which I think the Diaz though with its range modifier, I really think if I get one, my way to play it would be shrapnel bazooka, play it ranged, and then kind of play like range kind of setup, and then when they get in close, just tackle them just to bait out their um, melee.
It's a good option for like ace matches if you don't actually want to be the ace, just because you can hit those two consecutive hits for stun.
Mhm.
I mean, you can also throw a
But
lot of
but
damage at 'em.
output wise, it actually kind of sucks. Like you're only doing like in the high hundreds per hit because
Well,
it's a lot like the anti-air, but with a little less like damage to it, depending on what you're hitting.
no, it
I
has
think it's kind of low though. I've
it's
hit over
per it's
1,000.
per yeah, like it's per little shotgun blast. So when it gets there, it spreads into like 10 different hits that are like 100 and something each.
I've never
So
seen it actually spread, to be honest. Like when I use it, it usually just kind of in where it actually makes
I think it's
impact.
kind of hard to notice, but yeah, if it gets near a target, it automatically explodes and does a shotgun blast.
and then it's weird too because there will be a lot of times like I'll be like got him, and then it'll just be like no damage numbers pop up, so it's very easy to miss. But like if you have somebody that gets staggered in front of you, you can just be like boom, boom, and just I'm hitting Hyakushiki for 2,000 a shot with the Mark II. So with the Rig Diaz having a much higher range modifier, you should be able to hit like 2.5k on a raid. If you hit with all like 10 of the little spreads or whatever, how many ever it is.
Mhm. To be fair, on the Mark II, its speed's actually a little bit faster. That's a different shrapnel version and just bazooka in general. Like the baseline clay bazooka itself actually has pretty good output. I feel like the shrapnel version's a little less. The one for the Mark II might actually just be better in that regard, and I hope so because it should be.
I think they have the same damage.
But
Were they
Who
different?
knows?
I actually thought both of the alternates were the same, but it makes sense that they were because they look different.
Yeah, one's a hyper and one's just a,
mm.
I guess, clay. That's what it is. Shrapnel clay. That's what it is.
yeah, clay bazooka.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. When you get that and try it out, let me know output wise.
Yeah.
Because
That's
like I find the clay bazooka shrapnel for the DS to be interesting, but kind of underpowered.
Yeah,
And I think that's by
It seemed
design.
underwhelming when I used it.
but I don't know. I like the pew
It's the
pew
machine
play
gun
style.
man's bazooka.
Yeah, I was
Mhm.
gonna say I like the pew pew style of play. That's like instead of getting in there with the one shot beam with the what is it, the
Mm.
Marside beam rifle. Like
I was like, what I'm saying is that like you're doing like upwards of 3,000 plus with that clay bazooka because it has a high baseline, and you already have like a ridiculous amount of range mod on your Diaz, especially when you start putting parts on it too. So like you're able
oh
to
yeah,
do a
that
pretty good chunk without even having to go in for melee.
yeah, that's the same thing with the
You
Yeah.
don't
hyper
even gotta
bazooka
worry
too.
about that.
I think the idea of the clay though is that it uses probably uses like an extra shot, but you could probably do comparable damage, assuming you get like good center mass shots with
Mhm.
2 to 3 blasts from the shrapnel version.
I'd say
Um,
like it's probably actually
'Cause they're
more
pretty quick.
DPS, but then you get the reload time in there. So I'd say you probably get more overall damage with the entire clip of the normal bazooka. But like as far as like having to just burn someone down really quick, I think the shrapnel bazooka would actually give you, but you have to hit them. That's the thing.
Yeah,
That's the big deal. Like
you got to get
there'll
those
be
consecutive
times
hits.
where I'll hit like 130,000 damage with the Mark II and like just smash the damage numbers. But
Mhm.
if I'm just having a bad game, and which is a lot of the time for shooting, luckily you get to shoot that thing a lot, and I've got like the level 3 reloader and I think the level 2 on it as well. But like if I'm having a bad game with shooting, I'm like barely hitting 50, 60k. But like when if there's a Zombie in the game and I'm like, I can't miss you, here we go. And I'm just like, boom, 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 boom. I
Bully the
bullied
tank.
that. Oh yeah. Well, and the
God,
other thing
I
there,
love Zombos when I actually get in with the Shiki too.
but
Oh,
like
that shit.
you can do for a Zombie or anything huge that you can just bully like that. You can do 1, 2, and then wait till the stagger wears off so that the stagger accumulation resets, and you can just do 1, 2 again, and then pretty much just keep them almost perma-stunned as long as you can stay under their guns so that they can't hit you.
Mm.
So
The clay bazooka can also hit outside of its effective range too.
yeah.
It gets a little bit more reach with the bazooka, the shrapnel blast. If you're using that version of it, so if you know you're like right at the edge, you just shoot them anyway, and the shotgun blast will cover the rest of the distance for you. So that's pretty neat.
Works well against big suits though. Like I like fighting
Right.
GBO2s with it. So, but
I'm with you, Gustav. Ultimately, though, I think the shrapnel version of the clay bazookas are kind of underwhelming as well.
I'm gonna give it a shot in this match and try to see what I can see. It's been a minute since I've done it, and like I said, it's very good for like supplemental damage and stuns when you're doing ace matches because it's low impact. You're not like stunning or fouling up everyone else on your team, especially when the ace selection happens.
It
So
is
I
gonna be one
think
of those
it
cases
has
where
utility for that.
you also have something that's always up that you can do damage with. Because I mean, between that and switching to the dual pistols, you have a lot to go off of.
Yeah, that's the Diaz in a nutshell. Like
Yeah.
it just doesn't run out. You
yeah,
just have everything to just throw at people. And if you run out of all that, then you can just goop people.
Splooge 'em.
pretty much. So I think the Diaz right now kind of might be the superior suit to the Garibaldi, but
It's
we'll
a
see.
good utility suit for sure.
I know. I mean, the ball guy has to go up against the Mark II and the DS. Both, those two are really good. But
Yeah.
it might have its own. It might have its own place too. Like the utility isn't anything to like laugh at.
No.
And it doesn't have the reliable double insta stun that those other two suits do. But I don't know. Maybe it's kind of like the trade off for being able to roll twice. Because I do think the game is getting to the point, like, how you're starting to kind of see raids fall off a little bit in higher cost matches, and honestly, sometimes just in general. I think they're definitely going to have, with the way that they're pushing stuff, like if general suits like this are going to start getting, I mean, I know Hyakushiki has it as well, but if like standard kits are going to give suits like multiple stun options like this, I think they're going to have to really start pushing some kind of way to either, they need to like just pull it back some, or introduce some way for the more like, I don't know, lumbering style suits or raids and supports to be able to keep up. Because I mean, what if you get in there, you can like stun lock a support.
Well, and then right
Just
now,
bazooka into splooge, and you're pretty much in their face.
yeah, like you got so much range. You can essentially do like the Akai thing now with exactly what you were talking there. You just bazooka, walk up, pew, then go. Then with
Yeah.
the Mark II, you got so much melee damage. It's gross.
You
So,
could probably even follow up with a second beam shot if you really need to after the splooge hit.
Yeah.
Granted, if you're that far away, you're probably like arcing.
Yeah, a little bit of artillery, a little artillery goof going on there.
But I think overall right now the biggest thing, like I think the only raid right now that I see do really well. I mean, maybe the Hyakushiki has like a upper limit skill cap that just needs to be hit by somebody. But I think right now the best one I've seen is the GPO2 still. Like Tetras just melt. Like if you're able to hit a Tetra with the Mark II, it's gone, deleted. And then again, the GPO2 is big enough of a target that the Mark II can kind of get in there. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Like it just feels like the Mark II has way too much melee damage, and like everything else that's right now is kind of starting to out utility like the raids currently. So I would agree with
I
that.
mean, the other thing with that is that not only does it have that damage, but it just blatantly has more priority too.
Oh yeah, the priority thing is just weird. Like hitting flashing swords with the Hyakushiki as a general type. Like what? Like what were you in,
They
Gustav?
seem to have the Hakushiki set up as a shooty type suit. Like Hakushiki definitely has the space mobile suit package, even though it's made for both. Like just looking at it, actually, you remember when I was talking about the damage modifier, on the downswing, how it was like kind of low for each hit compared to other suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it seems like that's just a thing they do with multi-hitting downswings, especially on suits that are also in space. So I don't know if that's just like something they do or whatever, but I mean, I believe the Hakushiki also has a bit of a, I mean, it should have, I believe it has space preference anyway, but doesn't it have a like pretty, I want to say higher space or shooting stat, if not like they're the shooting and melee are both around the same level. But
It's a
it
little
seems like,
balanced in terms of that.
Mhm.
Again, it's
But it's definitely
very
not pushed.
akin to the G3 in that respect.
Yeah, it's not pushed to be like a heavy or the stats aren't pushed to make it like a heavy melee beater for some reason. So it's kind of interesting.
It's weird that it isn't, because they go out of their way to make it have like unique melee too, and
Yeah.
fast
Yeah.
melee on top of that.
Yeah, that is a pretty quick little combo it can do.
And like both on the downswing do knockdown on contact, and it has a huge like radius, so you can kind of bring it around in a way that you can hit like almost like a half circle around you and still make contact with somebody. Like it has utility when it's actually in there trying to brawl.
But yeah, raid and support is starting to feel kind of weird at around the 500, 550 cost.
I'm kind of glad that support's feeling weird, because it means they're actually trying to like change it going forward, and it really needs to be. I just hope that they figure out something that's actually like worth it.
I don't know. Super Gundam feels like the first suit to actually try and change it though. I feel like they, except like GPO.
I'd say the Gerbera they tried a little bit.
GPO4.
Yeah.
Yeah, GPO4 they tried.
It's a little bit, but it's one of those things where it just didn't feel like it was enough.
Yeah, the second melee, like it's a zippy boy, but the second melee swing, while nice, isn't what supports need to
Oh.
survive in a slew of stun options. Besides a good team.
And then there's the GPO2 MLRS, which I think that actually still holds a pretty high spot in the support at 550.
I
Yeah,
would
it's
say
like
so.
they
It's
took
hard
the
to
concept
gauge.
of support with that, and we're just like, you know what? Everyone liked the Madrock. We can just make this like that, but with even more utility and Vulcans that are actually worth a damn.
Yeah, those Vulcans are scary.
So they just like cranked that whole concept of being a Scooty support to 11, and we're like, hey, we'll just make it entirely better. But it's
Let's just
not
say, or go ahead.
straying from the typical support formula.
Yeah.
It's just improving on it.
Yeah, I mean, if you strap another mobile suit to a mobile suit, that's generally a good combination.
Yeah.
With like the honestly, the guard custom would probably be really strong in that regard if shotguns weren't everywhere in its
Mhm.
cost range.
Yeah.
Because that's why I think like the GPO2 and or both versions of it can have like as much advantage as they do. Because like the
Mhm.
only camphor swinging guys that, or sorry, shotgun swinging guys that camphor, so they have to worry about like DS, a free, and just all that good jazz.
You just gotta worry about this wad of like paper mache coming at you with a shotgun.
Which I mean,
Yeah,
actually, I mean, we'll get to look at that here in a little bit. But the Comfer, go ahead and spoil that a little bit. Was the I think #1 general type used in the ranked. So definitely the people who know how to use the Comfer well, like it is definitely one of those high
Mhm.
skill cap suits. It is glass cannon is all get out, but if you know how to get in there and get those staggers going, you can destroy and hit top of the charts really easy. But
It's
that
a
is
very
definitely
powerful yeetus deletus kind of suit.
yeah. But you have to go in right at the right moment. You have to really be able to dodge roll and get your combo off and bait out some
using
attacks.
maneuver armor is a big deal too.
Yeah, oh yeah,
When you're not
maneuver.
when you're not in NA where maneuver armor doesn't work.
Mhm. You'd also be surprised at how much reach that neutral melee has. Like, if
Mm.
Yeah.
you actually stop and try to measure it out, like, you can actually catch people in spots that you wouldn't expect.
But the other thing, before we go into the super, because kind of where we're talking about supports, one of the things too, someone mentioned the Jaeger, and it does kind of have a little bit of a general feel, only like a one melee general, just because it has that what's it called, so that you can swing with a melee balancer.
Oh, balancer.
Yeah. I mean the GPO2 also has that, but and then it has the crazy downswing of the GPO2. But like the Jaeger, has a balancer, and it's weird not seeing a balancer on supports at higher cost now, which they've done that a couple of times.
Oh, the
And
gun cannon has balancer. What are we waiting for?
yeah,
That'd probably help. At least for their up close survivability. Because I mean, a downswing is pretty relevant. Like besides it being like the bread and butter of everything, if you're not playing like a close game, a downswing gives you breathing room to kind of fall back, and reset in some cases too.
yeah.
So being able to actually follow up easier would help out support some in that regard also.
But it feels kind of weird right now that they've, other than like say the Type B, which I'm surprised got a buff this patch, but other than like the Type B just adding tons of weapons onto things, um, they've just been, giving higher levels of old suits, and they've kind of been taking the spotlight. Like I still think the Jaeger is probably top tier. Maybe the GPO2, and then oddly enough, I've been having success in the Zommel. I can't believe I'm saying
The
this.
Jaeger at what cost though? I mean, I don't know.
550.
Like it
That's what I'm
it
saying.
definitely still holds up, but I mean, I would honestly play the GPO4, the GPO2, Super Gundam. I'd play any of the
Oh yeah,
base
those in
like higher
space for
cost base
sure.
level
If we're talking about space, but yeah, on
Yeah,
ground, it
even
just
on
seems like one
ground
of the
though,
better
like
choices.
the O2 is about the only choice you have right now, and then like I mean, isn't that the only ground we've actually got though? The new one. Yeah. I mean, 500 cost. If you want to back it up to 500, we got the Type B, but that's it. Like we need more ground supports. I'm just kind of curious to see what they do with that.
Hmm.
That's why was kind of sad to see that we got just another space only support.
Unless you want to get in there with the Gilgud cannon or like the higher level full armors,
Yeah, well, I mean
like
that's
just the
what I'm saying.
regular full armor.
That's just the options now for 550s is they're just up in levels of old supports to kind of compensate. It's like okay, well first you got to get them out of the lottery. So that's kind
Right.
of
And I
the
mean that
big
was
oof.
always the thing because they did it with the first game. Level creep was even more ridiculous in that game. I
Chat box
don't
reminded you about the
I
heavy
forget
Gundam
if they
at
actually went
500.
to yeah.
Oh yeah, they did give it a level 2, but again, they're kind of doing the old suits, just getting higher levels to compensate. I want to see some new
Mhm.
stuff. Actually, get some new
Yeah,
mechanics in there.
it's not gonna happen.
I can
Well,
Most of the
we
dream.
have
Zeta suits
meteors.
most of the
We have
Zeta
meteors.
suits are not gonna be support.
I can dream.
Call it right now.
But we need some better raids though, and supports. I think I agree with the raid thing too.
I
Like,
think we'll get some good raids. I kind of hope we get a transformable raid too.
Me too. That'd be awesome. Memphis.
Mm.
Memphis.
Or the Hambrabrabra-
Dude,
um,
I think
the
Zeta. I
big
think Zeta will have.
pterodactyl thing or
No,
whatever
I
the
think they'll
fuck
have
from
good support.
space.
I'm calling a Zeta Gundam support
Mm.
for the game.
oh
Have an
my
alternate
gosh.
form of Zeta Gundam.
What if they give us a
I'm
full
telling you,
armor Zeta?
Oh yes, please.
that'd be interesting. I wasn't even dreaming that big. I was just gonna say they would have the it's like like
I'll
it's
be
main
honest, they wouldn't be that stupid.
support.
They definitely make it a general.
Oh, for the Zeta? No. It's two
Yeah.
versions. There's gonna be a general version where it has like its standard kit, beam rifle or whatever,
Mhm.
and they'll just have just like how there's the GPO2 MRS, they'll just have a Zeta come out that's a support that uses the mega like the bazooka
Oh, the
launcher.
big launcher, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there we go. That would be legit.
That would be the support version. Like that'd be crazy though, because that gun is fucking huge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That thing's
you would
fucking massive.
you would like you could like see the support just like where's the support and you just like see this like gigantic blue like pillar
Literally,
just like
I
rising up in
think
the
the
back.
mega launcher that the Shiki use, which is very similar to the one that the Zeta gets, it has its own vernier thruster on it because it needed to be able to move under its own power to get places.
Yeah, I want to see
Yeah.
somebody can pilot that thing too. Like I think you can drive that bitch around. Um, they should really like make those into skirays.
That'd be hilarious. That would be a good solution, especially since the Shiki can run it.
Oh yeah.
And just put it on a platform, let it be able to move pretty fast.
New map.
Yeah, new map, just
There we
have
go.
that.
Yeah,
Just plug it into
that's what
your
it
suit
is.
and
But
We all know the next space map is gonna be Von Braun, so whatever.
Mm.
An interesting idea though. What if they ever put a repair type suit in? But you decided
The
was just
Methus
bringing
was
up.
I
one
think
of
they
the
did do
bigger
the
ones
methods.
just because they did it in the other games, but like
Yeah.
it'd be interesting. Or like having a different kind of repair station. I feel almost like capture points should have more utility, and that would be like something that you could do.
Almost like a watered down version of the base effect or something when
Yeah,
you're
like not
in
super
the
high,
field.
just put it in a radius instead.
Mm-hmm. That's honestly how I think the repair skill would work. It'd just be like maybe you switch to the repair ability. And you just have like
Yeah,
a
or it would
passive
just be like a glorified
repair buff.
repair tool, but it's just
Mhm.
when you do it in the suit, it's stupid fast.
Yeah, I honestly think the best, like if it's gonna be a repair tool type of thing, I've always thought that like if it was like a quick fast repair, I don't know how strong it would be though. That's like so interesting. For them introducing stuff like that. Like I think that the support class should have a
Don't
true
make it.
support. Um, that's always been kind of like a thing that I've kind of talked about. So it'd be nice to see, particularly with like buffs and debuffs. Like they've already got some debuffs, even though none of the supports used them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
real talk.
but
It would be nice to have more active buffs. Like I'd be down
but
with
yeah,
that.
That'd be
something
kind of
that's
cool.
like active or passive would be nice because they already kind of have some stuff with the spawn reduction skill and
Mhm.
stuff like that, or like the radar detection stuff. But I'd like to see something that's a little bit different besides like smoke, um, that you can use to kind of
It's funny because
smoke.
I can already hear some of the pay to win stuff going in from that kind of stuff in terms of utility, but it's like, bro, you're already having to whale to even have a chance of getting these suits. Like we're already there.
I was gonna say we're kind of
Like
there at the
I'm
higher cost. Like I was like, game's doing good for a while. Like I was definitely praising it for like having better, newer player stuff. But I think we
Mhm.
talked about this last time. Feel like the newer player thing is getting a pretty in a pretty awkward situation.
Yeah, they're gonna
So
have a rough time.
It's just
Like,
as the shiny suits are being gated to new players.
well, and that's the other thing. I already had somebody message me like for the space. They were like, "Yo, I can't do it," and I'm like, "No big deal. Get some sleep."
So, yeah,
Because they just
I feel.
they don't have a 500 suit right now. Like they don't have an option, and it's just kind of like that.
And that's the other thing. Like
That's a bummer.
recruiting for GS3 is just like, I'm not gonna yell at you for not having a suit that you can't run. Like I can't force you to wail for it. But I also don't want to like block people from getting in because ultimately we're still active enough that we're getting our challenges and stuff done. It's not like we're not doing stuff in the game. It's just really hard to get those clan matches going.
Yeah. Which, if we want to do that real quick, shout outs for clans. Gustav
GS3
has
is recruiting.
GS3, capital G, capital S, 3,
3.
and then mine, Magnum Gaming, capital M, lowercase n, capital G, and yes, these are case sensitive.
You aren't evil geniuses.
I think we already covered this.
Stood for. If you're a fan of Trying On Pants, Team Try Pants is recruiting for clan battle as well. T3P.
Is that a capital TNP?
But capital T, capital 3.
Capital.
Backwards capital E.
That's a fucked up look at E.
Okay, cool. But yeah, there's that. Join clans, win things.
Join these guys' clans first though. Team Try Pants actually had 2 teams in the last clan battle, so we're able to play. But get these guys in there too.
We actually got 4 people, so I was really excited. Like I was more hyped that we were almost had a team than actually getting to play. Then we just went and did customs with Gustav.
Yeah. Now we all just hung out in the morning, like, hey, it's early morning dailies. But we already did them.
But okay, so I guess let's go ahead and hop into the super, and I went ahead and linked you guys that clip if you want to play that. Try to bring that up.
So who? Okay, show of hands. Who's got the super? Because I don't.
Nope. I don't think Emblem even rolled on it.
Yeah, he kind of.
I did a single pull, and I got not a super Gundam, and I was like, oh, not Zeta. Moving right along.
Oh, whoa. Still, even facing it right now, when I was doing it in those matches, definitely has that utility. It's got good output. I haven't seen anyone mess with the dummy balloons too much, but I feel like high cost space is just so fast paced, and like some of those maps are either too constrained or too open for it to be like not obvious that they're just like dummies.
Well, it does get rid of, and that's the first thing that we tested out on the video, is it does move your radar. It gets rid of your arrow on the radar, so you can move in any direction while that rock's moving in a direction. So you can tell that it's moving too slow to actually be somebody moving, but the thing is you could also be moving in that same direction or an opposite direction.
Right.
So you can go, you can use it that way. So there's probably going to be, you're probably going to get it off, like a cool maneuver, like once every 10 times you do it or something. Like you'll probably trick a few people, but
yeah,
the other thing
behind cover will help.
Yeah, pretty much you just duck in behind cover and then you throw it in a direction and either move in the same if they, if you think they can tell, or you split in the opposite. So it's one of those cool little tricks. But if you know somebody's coming around the corner at you though, throwing that out, and they go to do like a melee swing or something, and they end up bopping themselves into a rock, like that's always kind of cool.
Works like a hide bomb.
Yeah. So if they
The
ended up,
hitbox looks a little bit bigger too. Like
yeah,
these meteors they're very meaty. They're meatier than the others.
Oh man, the meteor.
Yes.
Well played.
It's a spicy meatball.
That's not how you guys call it whenever he gets meatballs away.
The Super Gundam is Italian.
But I thought it would be interesting though for it to actually throw up like a decoy of itself, like moving. That would be kind of cool.
The Zeta gets that.
Yeah. So like,
So I'd be interested to see if they let that happen.
yeah, that'll be cool. I'm guessing it probably will. So there's that mechanic, but
Can I just say, like, if it does that, I hope the balloon is the Zeta Gundam models from Gundam versus Zeta Gundam.
Mm.
You know, like the
Hilarious.
balloons are like little like low res colored versions of them.
Oh
So
my
just
God.
throw out the Zeta, the old. They just like pull a model from an old game and just have it shoot that out as the dummy balloon.
Every other
That'd be
every
hilarious.
other dummy balloon should be like a different suit too. Like that doesn't make sense to come out of the Zeta.
Yeah,
that
that'd
would
be
be
funny.
silly.
That'd be funny too.
That only happens.
It's like
That
Put
happens
it
when
like
you play it on
the
April Fools.
Rigazee comes out. Like what the fuck?
new Gundam.
Every April 1st,
That's
that's the April Fool's joke, is that the Zeta shoots out other suits. It only happens one day a
It
year.
just shits out the double Zeta. Like what the fuck is?
Like it throws it. What was the narrative? Didn't they have the one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they got the NT model in there
Yeah.
still.
So like they throw that out.
I'd dig that. That'd be cool.
Like it just on April 1st, they just throw out random suits.
Put in like
The new Gundam or something comes out.
the Gustav Karl or whatever.
Yeah. But so it's beamed though. It's got the Hyzak custom beam rifle essentially. It hits
It
for
pierces without
yeah.
a charge though.
And that's the thing. It pierces without and
That's
with a
pretty cool.
charge, and the charge heavy staggers. So if you catch people in a line, you heavy stagger like 3 people at the same time. That's gonna be there you go. Throw that clip up if you ever do that. Like I kind of want this suit because of the next reason. Then after you heavy stagger, you just swap to the missiles and just lay into somebody.
Mm.
And they have
Especially if the Zod
ASL.
was doing pierced heavy stagger before it was cool.
I like how they retroactively gave
Oh wait,
other
yeah, the
suits
Zoc.
ASL
Okay,
on
yeah.
their missiles
I was
too.
like, it took me a second. I don't know why I just had a brain fart on what the Zoc was.
The
I
Zoc
thought,
does all these cool support things already, so go play
It's
your
like,
Zoc.
what's a Zoc?
yeah, no,
Oh,
for
boy.
some reason I was picturing a Zagok, and I was like, what? Just because the Zagok's in the
Zagok.
patch notes. But yeah, the Zoc, yeah, for real though.
Imagine a red Zoc.
You mean it's not?
It acts like it is.
I mean, you're just
The Zoc transcends all categories. It's every class at the same time.
you just like boof people on the head, man. That forward swing,
Mhm.
just neutral them, just straight down. And
Sorry, I
then
didn't
run
mean to
Literally
away.
lean
just
onto the Zoc,
conking a
though.
suit upside the head. It's hilarious.
I love doing the scoop. The scoop is my favorite.
Oh, that's bad. That's a Shiki. Oh boy.
But yeah, as far as it goes, we went ahead and tested out the missiles and stuff. They take about a third ish, from what I could tell, looking back at the video of the missiles. It's got 28 shots to get a stagger. So once you get the heavy stagger, pretty much if they're taking any hits right there coming out of it, you can actually get a stagger off pretty quick. It's really
Was
where
there
the
like a
SML should.
specific count for the consecutive hits?
I'm guessing it's somewhere around like 10-ish, 10 to 15 in that range. I feel
Yeah,
like
even seeing the demo video, like it's got a good array that comes out.
yeah. Well, and they're ASL too, so that's another big deal. Like I feel like that's where the SML should be as far as how many shots it takes to stagger somebody.
Yeah.
Not to get on another suit, but yeah, the SML I feel like it needs a little bit quicker stagger.
Yeah, like it's got ASL, but
Yeah.
it's neat to have ASL that can actually act at that range. Like that's the more interesting thing about that suit.
But you can follow up this though with from the beam. So you either stagger with the beam, then missile, or you heavy stagger with the beam and then you lay into somebody. So, and I think that's it though. Then it just has its beam saber, which has a interesting swing to it. Like,
Is
I
it
think
different?
I think its neutral is kind of like a jab, kind of like straightforward kind of thing.
Almost
then
kind of
it's-
like the GM Cannon 2.
Does it have the
Yeah, kind of.
arcing Fetty downswing?
I don't think so. I know I've seen one do kind of like an up swing at once, and then I've
It
seen
would
it
make
jab.
sense though. I mean, the G defensor is behind it, so it may not be able to technically do those, more standard
Yeah.
Federation like style swings. So
So literally just got like a ship on its back.
yeah,
But
Cats is in there, guys. Protect them.
You guys better be good. He gets don't
can
worry.
you just
He's already gone.
can you just disengage the back and
Let
just
me keep the gun.
beam? Keep the beam. Just disengage the back. Leave them there. But
Honestly, it'd be cool to like. I know people talk about the head deploying from the Zeong thing as a low HP thing,
That
but
needs
it'd
to
be
be a
cool
thing.
yeah, they're just like the same vein. Like the Super Gundam has a thing where you could just ditch the mobile suit and just fly around in the G defensor, or something like that. It'd be a neat little touch.
that'd be cool if they ever add anything like that. Super legit.
That'd be a good way to introduce like aircraft play into the game too, for the transformational suits later on.
Well, I mean,
Or even just doing like what is it, the suit sleds? Because the G defensor can act like one too.
and then all they would have to do
Like
really,
a full on Igus Gundam and just like fly around Phantom 00 with your G defensor. That'd be sick.
That'd be dope.
I could see them actually connecting it as like a one hitbox, so it stays in the same shape every time you transform and leave. So like,
Mhm.
and then you just shoot that to blow up. You know, you can still blow up the suit, and when you blow up the rest of the suit, you get the score. But then they're around in their 25. Like if they were in just a ball or something, kind of situation. Like that would actually, I could see them being able to do that.
Would be cool for that fast move as well. Like in Gundam versus Zeta Gundam with the super pack on, the Mark II can uh line up, and like the Super Gundam kind of it does like a pseudo transform mode where it kind of go flies around faster, kind of gets
Mhm.
straight, zips around.
Yeah.
It'd have been interesting if they kind of included that, like maybe not like a full on transform thing. Although I mean, you could do that too, just gun up and zip around or whatever. You just like pierce cannon shot people, kind of like a space tank or something. But
I wonder if they'll add that though at
it,
some
it has
point.
that.
Oh, speaking of that, like it reminds me of, remember when the Grandpa Gundam got hooked up to the the G Bull or whatever, its own G defensor sort of thing,
Right.
and they put it as its legs, like they were trying to make it a mobile armor. Like that'd be kind of
That'd
neat,
be
like
interesting.
almost like Psyche Miyazaku, but like with a Gundam at the end of it.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, the variants on the little G Gundam things would be neat. The G Bull be too strong though. It has two
G Bull would
shields.
be hilarious. I wanted, because it could just be in like a tank mode all the time. It would just be stupid fast and have like beam cannons on it.
That'd literally be all it do. You just like ram people and
And
shoot them
just
with beam cannons and
they
have
just
two shields. That'd be
immediately
like the
die.
entire thing.
Oh gosh,
It'd be hilarious though. I'd love that.
that would be pretty legit. Tank mode all the time. Let's go. Boof. like it pushes it back.
Like it
Space
scoots back
version
every
of it
time it
would be
shoots.
cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Like the version of it where they get rid of the legs and just
Yeah.
attach it to the jet part. That'd be neat in space.
Because the interesting thing is that in I think it was Thunderbolt, we actually see some of those, but they're like GMs are at the end of them.
Yeah.
They're like core boosters that they slapped onto like a torso of a GM. So yeah, there's a lot of weird like variants they could still fuck around for space and all that. And I kind of hope they touch on that stuff going forward. As much as I like a lot of the Zeta stuff that's been coming out.
But I won't play it because I'm an old type. Feels bad.
Right. Oh god, like I can't even imagine if I ever get an FB and I'm gonna try to like tame that fucker. That's gonna be hard. It's gonna be really hard. I'm like 30 now. I don't got those kind of reflexes.
I've been trying to play it, and it's where I actually decided to buy the ticket gun.
Ticket gun.
And so it's better. Like with that, it's pretty
Mhm.
awesome.
Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about.
I'm just imagining it, the gun like shooting out tickets at people.
Sprays with cycle tickets.
Yeah. Okay. So technically now it's in the lottery, but it finally
Right.
showed up. It decided to show up in like the heavy Gundam, which
Heavy Gundam came home. Okay,
I'm still salty about that. I waited for it for so long. I mean, now I can get it
it's
with
okay,
DP.
Magnum. I know.
But
Heavy Gundam told you he was going to the grocery store and to be right back. But
It's just
it's
going for
it's
some
here to
cigarettes
stay.
and it never
It's here to stay. It's okay, man.
pretty much. For real though.
Oh
I
shit.
was so tilted. Like every day I'd be like, is it in the ticket shop? I even said it today too. Like when I first got on, I was like, okay, let's check the ticket shop. Oh wait, no, it's
Dope.
in the DP store now. Never mind. But like,
Video game.
so I'm saving the tickets for whenever they put like the ZOC or the GPO2 MLRS or something in there. Then I'll
Yep.
spend them. Yeah, that's what
Good
I
that's the
was
new
kind of
save.
happy. I was happy to get the assault gun tank the other day though. Like that was neat. But now like I don't know what to wait for anymore.
Good talk. Oh, wait, you already have one.
Yeah, I got a Zach. I want the level 1 Zach. That wouldn't be bad.
I agree.
'Cause I got the
Yeah, I
level
don't know,
2.
Gustav. You're unfortunately life is just bland and unflavorful for you going forward.
Bland and
I can see you
meaningless.
getting the O. Yeah,
Oh my god, the O would
Oh
be
my
hope.
gosh.
you
I
probably
would
blown
love the
battle
O.
operation.
If they're gonna give us the O and if they're gonna actually have it have all the little arms, aperture
General
arms,
Grievous.
they need to put that on some of the Stardust suits too. Or like give us more Thunderbolt suits where they have extra aperture arms on them.
Oh, just give us the Hazel custom.
Yeah.
There you go.
We need advanced Zeta stuff, like for real. Like we need to get some in there.
But
That's
to
all
bring
for
things
another
back to
day.
the Super Gundam,
Yeah.
the Super Gundam does have the backpack like damage dampening skill, whatever it's called, back buffer,
Which is good because it's
whatever.
massive.
Yeah. So it is good to note that you do take you grant while your gigantic backpack hitbox is there. You do take less damage from hits in the back.
Mhm.
Although I don't know. I know when our games with it the other night, we had Sergeant Saab with us.
Yeah,
and
he was
running it.
fucking railing on that backpack.
Yeah. Granted, he was saying that it wasn't quite as bad in like outside of customs. You know, I think we just had a high skill player base getting in there, taking advantage of all the Super Gundam's weaknesses.
We're just all so
I
powerful.
was
on
able
this group.
to like what's going on right now. I'm at the part where I was fighting him with the Zeong, and I was able to hit it with the rear and pretty much stagger it every time with that. So
You were in the rear with the gear.
pretty much, and then I could follow up pretty easily and get quite a bit of damage on it. Again, the Zeong might be a little OP still, but
Just a little.
just a little.
I mean, I was taking it on with the Gerbera a little while back. And it seems like I'm doing a little bit more damage to it than I was before. I don't know if they've changed something on one or the other suit. But I remember when I was first going up against it in the 04, like that shit was hard. That was real tough because it isn't highlighted for its beam resistance, but it's got a lot of beam resistance.
Oh yeah,
you guys.
It's got a lot of beam resistance.
And then like also its mobility. So like against an 04, I'm just like, okay, I've got a ton of beam resistance, and also by the way, you stagger me, I stagger you. Let's go.
Yeah.
Because you can stagger me, but my hands are hitting you in the rear at the same time, so we both get staggered. And then I've got an easy follow up to also stagger you again, where you got to wait for your second shot. So that's another thing with it that's kind of awkward.
Yeah,
But
like the ECAP sub weapon's nice, but the consecutive hits it takes to stop somebody is a little rough when you're taking out a Zeong. Which is funny because it's the broadside of a barn because of its size, but because it has that maneuverability, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's
And
crazy
maneuver
fast.
armor and double dodge roll.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. As long as, and that was the other thing when he was trying to charge the beam up and I was heading that toward him, like if I dodged at the right time, I could actually, which again in a normal game I probably wouldn't be able to pull that off because lag, but in a custom game 1-on-1 where I probably had the host, it made it a whole lot easier. So
And then you get on your other monitor and then it's just all
pretty much. Which no, I had it on here, but at least I had host advantage, I think. So I can at least anticipate my input lag a little bit. So I don't know. I think the I think it's definitely a step up from the 04 though. Like it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Mhm.
But I guess we'll see. I'm kind of, again, I think you said this yesterday, Emblem, that I'm kind of surprised that they introduced the meteor thing with a support. So
Hmm.
kind of interesting, but
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the subversion thing seems like something you do with a raid, but I hope that, like I was saying earlier, like I hope they do it retroactive for other suits,
yeah,
just
that'd be
as
cool.
like an extra thing they could do.
I mean, they
I will
already
say,
did that with
like,
the Diaz with the goop.
I think it makes more sense knowing that it creates a false image, though, because I think I said that before. I knew that it like removed you from the radar and like did that. I think a skill like that like is good for raids. Like, oh man, give me a couple of seconds of stealth, with the meteors on a raid, so I can get in there. That'd be awesome. Get those thirsty generals off my back, possibly for a millisecond. But I'm not sure, Mecha. Did you test to see if you could shoot the dummy balloons?
Yeah, I shot right through it. Nothing happened.
Okay. Um,
Oh, it doesn't
but
like soak up a shot at
No,
all?
you can't pop it.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I tried shooting it with
That
the
was the one
beam.
thing I was hoping for, like
Oh,
it could
whoops.
just work as a buffer.
but I think it makes sense. It seems like they don't last very long. Heat bombs float a lot longer than hide bombs, rather. Let's say
That's
heat bombs.
heating bots.
Um,
Like
hide
we know
bombs
what that is,
last a lot
but
longer, it seems like, compared to the asteroids. So I think it should last a tad bit longer. This seems like the effect is too short to really let you capitalize off of it. Maybe I'm mistaken.
But yeah, I was expecting to be able to shoot it though. I was kind of surprised that I couldn't.
This is just a step in the right direction. The Zaku 2 Kai will be getting Santa balloons in no time.
Wonder if the
that'd be hilarious. And I
That'd be
kind of
fucking
want that to
awesome.
happen.
that'd be pretty cool.
Next Christmas event, we'll get one. Get a Bernie custom that can just do goofy shit.
I wonder if
They put
they'll
another
add
mobile
the
suit. Better be an event.
in the Shigi put out meteors at all. I wonder if they're gonna add that to that.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's another one that should probably be able to do it.
Yeah, if that could do that, that would
Mark II
be.
and the Shiki at the very least. And I feel like the Rick Diaz is utilitarian enough that it'd have a spot for that since it can also do the goop. Anything that does the goop should be able to do decoys.
I agree. Because honestly, I think of them deploying the decoys before I think of the birdline launcher.
Mhm. The Birdline launcher was like an extra measure that they did to stop like one of the escape pods one time.
Hmm.
And then they did it again later on in Char's counterattack, I think.
Like the sealed colony
Yeah, whenever they
openings or
fuck up
whatever. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
colony walls. That's the initial thing. When I think of like weird utility things like that, I also get reminded that the original Gundam had a sheet that it put over itself, literally a re-entry condom. So it could actually go from space to Earth.
And if you're doing atmospheric reentries, put your blanket on.
Yeah, don't forget your protection, kids. Welcome to Earth.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on the super?
I want one just to mess around with at this point. I don't know if it'd be like one of my main bangers if I actually got used to it though.
I will say this: I don't think the Super Gundam is strictly better than the GPO4. I think they could definitely coexist side by side.
Mhm.
But I haven't. This is me not having played the Super Gundam.
Right.
I think both suits like fit a play style. I think you can easily put up high numbers with both.
I think if any of us get it, we should do like a little bit of a follow-up impressions for the next podcast.
Yeah.
I agree.
I might do a 10 spin. I haven't decided yet, but the thing is, again, it's just space only, so I'm just kind of like, oh man.
Yeah, I mean that's the bigger kicker for it too, right? Like it's cool, it's interesting that we got another Zeta space only.
Yeah.
Space only support no less, so it's not even like you're doing like super crazy shit in it. You're just doing your typical supporty stuff in it.
I mean, I'll take it though. I think it's pretty legit. It's got a
Yeah.
missile system for me. Yeah, I got my ASL. I can snipe every now and then. So, but yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and hop into the notes and all that crazy stuff.
Are we gonna talk about like the suit adjustments first, or just like the update notes?
Well, I guess we can talk about the what they've added and stuff because what did they add here in the Galbaldi stuff? They added a level 4 Freak Kai and BD1. Yeah, that didn't happen last time when we met, did
Yeah,
it?
that was the other secondary banner.
Yeah, that was right after the last podcast. So they added the Jiraru level 3 and the GM Guard
Hell
custom to
yeah,
the ticket shop.
high end elephant.
There we go. Let's see. Is there any actual notes other than that? I think the Gigan level 2, all of its
The week
weapons.
before was pretty sparse. I don't
Yeah,
think they really. I don't
that's what I was going to
think
touch on
they
it real
did any
quick.
adjustments.
Gigan level 2 got put in the DP store and all of its
Hmm.
weapons. And I think that was it.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot going on in that one, which is fine. Can't all be gold.
So the other thing that they added this time, which is the 2 suits on the side here for the overlay, the
Yeah,
Unit 4 and the Unit 5, level
our
3.
550 boys now.
So
They graduated. It.
I think that's pretty legit. They're both good suits. So
Yeah, they both had their strong points that kind of allow them to be there. I'm not gonna disagree with them being around for certain matches. Especially you talk about like the Mega Launcher or having another Gatling suit that can kind of hold out and do good consecutive because its threshold for stuns a lot better than say even the Barrage.
yeah, it's actually pretty legit. I just played it. I think my first game in space for the 450 and got 2 staggers off on a L Rider space.
Oh god,
Or
yeah,
wait, no,
just
no. No, that was the gunner. When I finally got to the gunner, like I didn't even know. I was like, do they even have a support like all game? And then I found him and I was like, okay, I'm going after him next time. Got to him and just he started flying downward and I was just like brrrr, all the way down. And then he finally got staggered and then he was just sitting there like, oh, what do I do? And then he got staggered again, just twice in one Gatling. Which that also, I'm kind of curious to know if they up the stagger rate of some stuff too when we get into the actual notes. Kind of curious what that means, and I think they did.
as in it just takes more to hit the threshold.
No, as in it takes
It takes
less to,
less.
but I don't know. Like I'm still trying to figure
I
out
think
what.
I only saw it like uh, that was only like on one thing though, right?
I thought it was like on a lot of the raids.
I mean, most I remember is like HP adjustments and like some strafing changes. I know they changed like heat cost. I mean, we'll get to it as we go through each one, but I don't
Which
remember
one are
seeing them
we?
make
Are we gonna
huge
start like
adjustments.
top down?
Let's go.
I'm also surprised that they touched on the flight type. By the way, like that's pretty. I can
I'm
dig that.
trying to see if we have an English version that. Yes, we do. That was quick. They're getting faster on it.
Yeah, they're getting faster on the post on the English Twitter page too, but I feel like again they should probably interact more. Like I'd appreciate that at this
So
point.
I guess we could look at the rank stuff, the rank stats, and then we'll look at the patch notes. So just bring that up real quick.
Let's see.
There we go. So interestingly enough, there are more generals used than anything else.
What a shock.
I don't know if you guys got that. I can link that straight to you. The one I'm looking at. This one.
What date was it on?
There you go. I linked it.
Okay.
then and then here's the notes. Second one.
Oh, okay.
So the 67.5% of generals for ranked matches, 67.9 in ratings at all costs. 21%
It's about the same.
support and 11.4% raid, which went down compared to the all cost rating average of 15.2%, which I could definitely feel that. There was a lot of games in ranked where it was just like no raids.
It's
I
starting to
agree.
get that way even in
Even in what? Sorry? Even in rated?
it's starting to get that way even in rated matches.
But looking at it though, support's still carrying the highest damage average.
That makes sense, though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Supports have advantage over majority of the team that they're up against in
Yeah,
most
I mean,
cases.
as the general suit, I think people are more comfortable just being in those and being a bit more active. But if you really wanted that damage, you should have probably just went support.
It's kind of funny that the
Support-
team win rate is also like everything is highest except for the one that I would say would probably be. I mean, if you're actually getting those staggers off when you need to,
Mhm.
it's actually got the lowest pursuit assist, which is kind of interesting.
It's because they're confirming kills, not saving teammates.
Pretty much. But
Legit just clambering over each other for final shots and stuff.
then I guess moving down a little bit to the aircraft high winning rate. Like I said before, I was kind of surprised it was the Comfer, but level 2 first place for general.
I can see
You
that
get a
though,
lot done.
just because of its output.
And I'm really surprised at the next one for general. Second was the Rick Diaz over the Mark II. That was something that surprised me actually seeing that stat.
I mean, I would say just because it was more common.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Bio brought it
definitely
up
not
too,
that
but
case now.
I was gonna say it's probably easier for people to get the Mark or the Rick Diaz because Rick Diaz had to step up as well.
Yeah, that's true. Then we had the
Hiladobu.
yes. Which is this is the English one too, which is funny. I think. Did I? No, wait. Wait. This
No,
didn't.
this is the
No.
Japanese one. This
wait.
is the one it's not
Whoop.
translated.
Does this one actually have a translation?
What's the date on this one? The 15th? This one might not have a
Not for a
translation
while,
yet.
it might.
Oh,
Do they usually
I think it does.
translate these director notices?
Oh, maybe not. I think this links to what we're looking at. Wait, no, this is just
They
a
have it on the
thing.
English
Whoop.
side. It's like, here's this link to a Japanese website.
Surprise.
But big surprise, boys. Hildolfer level 2 was relevant.
No
And,
way.
as a support. Crazy. I know.
What a
Incredibly
surprise.
maneuverable and high output. Nah, now
I know.
who would ever run that thing?
Yeah.
Good thing they haven't had to nerf the suit twice.
Good timing on that other one, by the way, right after ranked.
Yeah. Okay, so this was on the 15th, by the way. I'm quickly checking to see if I don't think we got this one.
Yeah, I didn't see it on there for the English side.
Yeah.
Just a little weird because it's like it should have been by now, but
So then the Jaeger coming in second, which I definitely could see that, and I'm surprised the full armor level 2 actually was the third.
I think people are digging on the output that thing has,
Yeah.
especially with the dual beams.
I think it also comes down to we've had the level 2 out a little bit longer as well. So like seeing the Type B.
Availability.
Yeah.
Full armor is definitely a suit people are comfortable with too, because that's been around for a million years in this game.
So we have the full armor and Jaeger just kind of more available than the Type B and or like I had to go just fall on the Mudrock or the Barrage to actually be my suit because I still only have the gun cannon is my only 500. So definitely can see them that. Now the funny thing is the next stat, which is kind of silly, but for raid, definitely had my best games when there was a Pixie on my team.
Yeah.
So definitely could see that. And then, what a surprise! Blue Destiny Unit 2 taking
Full elitist mode.
taking second and third place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm honestly a
BD2's
little
a nice suit.
surprised that the Pixie level 3 actually took first over the BD2. Probably just because of the nature of ranked, though,
Yeah.
is why. So they even have a note here.
It's pretty nice on that map too, though.
Because we were on city, right?
Yeah, ruins.
Ruin
Yeah.
City.
So that was pretty much just full assassin mode, just zipping around corners like, oh god, it's fast. Why?
So they were more people who were accustomed were more likely to actually sortie in it, I think is what that's saying. For the level 2 if they didn't have anything else. That was also a raid. So again, I mean pretty much the BD2 has been kinda like the standard of top tier raid suit, so fair enough.
Disgusting.
Yeah, pretty much. When I get to use it with like no lag, like yeah, that's what I used in that game when I joined Gustav there that one day for that 400 ace match. Ended up being the ace, and I was just diving into the enemy team like, come on, I'll take you all on, let's go.
Kill them all.
We like won what like 18,000 or something. To,
I
like
can honestly see Magnum as the
Yeah, that thing is a
those
fucking
early
terror.
raid players. Use exam up and rush the whole team.
oh
Magnum.
yeah, that's
Oh,
exactly
gosh.
what I did.
Legit was
God.
just popping as soon as he dropped down and was just yeeting on people.
Yeah, I would just run in, and then I'd be like a minute later, I'd be like, oh, life is pain. I can't see anything.
Yeah.
It's
It lasted a
everything's
whole
getting
minute.
dark.
But for that 1 minute, I was just like, 1 kill, 2
fucking
kill, 3
terror.
kill, triple kill, quadra
1 kill,
kill.
2 kill, 3 kill, 4.
Pretty much.
5 kill, 6 kill, 7 kill more.
Yeah.
And then do it again.
More like 6 kill, 7 kill. Uh-oh. Hold on.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Life is pain.
My legs.
In my head and everything else. Get out and repair for 2 seconds. Hop back in and hope for the best.
There's nothing worse than forgetting you actually popped your exam too. You're like, oh man, yeah, I gotta go ham. We're actually in here and we're sticking through. It's like, uh-oh. I don't got my powers no more. Shit.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then the next thing on this is just all the notes and stuff that we're about to go over, what they're adjusting and stuff. So,
So they just
They-
consolidated it for that one.
Well, did they repost the Oh, that's the stats. Never mind. Underneath it, I see. Never mind. They're talking about the hit all for like damage done
Yeah.
acquisition
It's like
score
a
and stuff.
Yeah.
summary.
It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah, the hit all for crushes the competition.
It's kind of funny though that they showed the level 1 and apparently the average is a higher win rate and more damage on the level 1 than the level 2. It's just because of the what's at that cost. Like it can outmaneuver so much more at 400. At
Most suits
450.
perform best at their level 1 cost anyway.
Yeah. So that's another big deal. But either way though, the Hill offer like I've got the level 1. I would love to take that into ranked. You know, they'll say they should change that minus 50 of whatever the cost is down to minus 100 at all levels, just because stuff like that could perform. Just saying.
Just a
I love
thought.
alienating our new players.
Oh yeah, and that too. Like that's the other thing too. Like that's why right now for clan ranked, like I got a message from somebody
Yeah, at
being
this
like,
point, that's what
"Sorry,"
it comes off as.
but okay. So they actually kind of explained this one what they're doing with it too. But we actually got the English notes. Woot woot. We're gonna have to start checking to see how quick they're actually doing that because by the time I got that
Mm.
uploaded yesterday or last night, it was like,
It was already pretty. It was still early in the morning, but it was like hours after the actual update happened.
yeah. But it might have been quick enough though that by the time I actually got it uploaded, because my internet like crapped out till 3, I finally got the video up somewhere around 4. But yeah, I think we can go ahead and just hop into the notes. If you guys want to do that?
Seems good to me.
So general types. First one on the list is the good flight type or test type. Sorry.
Well, yeah, real quick, sorry, before we start on this, the little adjustments they made to the Hildolfer and the assault gun tank aren't on this second page. If you wanted to touch on those, the last page we had before we start on the second one.
Wait, they're not on this?
Mm-mm. Support only has the sniper custom, or not sniper custom, but the Zaku sniper
I'm
and the
seeing
Dom and such. Oh
Zaku
no,
Sniper,
okay.
Dom.
I'm sorry, that's my bad. I missed it. They just don't go into the details that the other one had, I guess.
Yeah, of why and what.
Mhm.
I mean, we can go back to that if you want.
We can just touch back up on it if we need to once
Okay.
we get down to that point.
Great. So good flight test type. Um so we got 1,000 health at all levels. 55 to 60 thrust, and when moving left to right, it's faster. So that's kind of cool. I think that's going to be a big difference in the flight mode, more so than the just walking around on
Yeah.
ground.
That's where
Definitely
it
be
come
relevant
for
for
sure.
both. The X Zaku is a really good example of
Yeah, that's true.
like just walking maneuverability being a very big deal. So
I appreciate the expanded ASL range and the Vulcans.
That's
Like,
pretty
that's really
legit.
nice.
Yeah. And then they increased the power of the leg rockets and the
50
hitbox.
damage, pretty relevant.
See, now it feels more like an actual like aerial barrage.
Yeah. So that'll
Actually
be
able
cool.
to hit a little bit easier. I'm surprised they mess with the desert type in general.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's
Although,
fallen off at higher cost. Like,
yeah, this is one of
no
those
one's-
ones where like the things that they changed to it, it's nice. Like the thruster and the unit speed going up is good, but they're so small in terms of the adjustments.
yeah.
No one's really liked the desert type to begin with, though. Like I remember, like shortly after it came out, like you know, I had players telling me that I need to switch off the desert type because it's absolute garbage. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I've always had
there's that.
a soft spot for the desert type, but yeah, it's had a hard time keeping up.
Alright.
But real quick though, before we jump right into the next suit, we'll have to see. I don't play a ton of the goof flight type, but I kind of wonder, like the extra HP will help stuff, but I wonder if the changes will be enough to make it relevant. Do you guys think so?
Maybe. I've got the. I was gonna try to get a game in it, but I've got
It's
the
a
level
bit of
2.
a terror in ace matches, basic matches where it's just kind of having to kind of stand its ground and just pick at people from afar or like above. It's a little rough. But having that extra angle and just having things have a hard time bringing you down depending on what's trying to shoot at you, because it can resist a fair amount when it's actually in its flight mode.
Yeah. So.
I've liked it a few times I've played it. Even when I do flight shenanigans, I still get focused. But like whenever it's always like whenever it's on the other team, like it's just doing its thing and nobody's really looking at it at all.
Yeah, and I'm in a recon. No, what is it? A flipper, Zaku flipper, and I'm like hitting it with the camera and everything. Like, look at him, he's right there, and he's like picking at you guys. Just hit him. So I gotta like throw stern fuss and do anti-air gun on it and just try to keep it from going airborne all the time because, especially with the buffs, now it's actually doing more damage and it's actually connecting more.
Yeah, that's gonna be any
Even
kind of
more problematic than it was before. And this is just the test type. I'm still holding out for the regular flight type eventually.
Mm.
It'll be a while, but like imagine if they actually give it like that Gatling
oof,
instead of the finger guns.
that would be legit.
Or if we get the version that was in Thunderbolt. So like same thing, same basic thing, but it's more like a GUF custom but with flight legs
That'd be kind of insane.
as opposed to like a barrage that can like fly in the air.
I wonder if they would make it a raid at that point too.
That'd be cool.
I
I'd
think
dig
next will
that.
be a raid.
If they have 2 versions, I think the one from MS Team should probably be a support, and then you give the one from Thunderbolt as the raid.
Yes,
I can
please.
see that
Yes.
because it actually runs a sword too.
Yeah, that would be legit.
No, does the other one not? Mm.
I don't know if the one from MS does or not. Because the bigger
It
thing,
doesn't-
that was the one that was the episode. What was it? Battle on the Bridge or something like that. And the bigger thing was that they were constantly being able to come out from like above and below. I don't remember if they actually get into a melee in that until like the very end when they're like in the water.
Yeah, I'd have to look back at that one.
Well, I guess we just released a Goof Ignited as the raid instead then.
Kind of surprised they haven't done any like build divers or fighters kind of crossovers.
I think we see skins at best.
Yeah, I mean they also had the mobile, so it's Again, though, we're touching on that skin idea. That's something they really should try to look into.
I don't know. The last time I talked about skins in chat, everyone was like, "No, it'd be awful." And you could tell who's what and
It's so
hitboxes and
inconsequential, though. Like,
I mean, like if you can't tell who's what, I mean, I kind of
well,
already feel that a little bit with
my
paint
argument
schemes.
with that though was
I
that
mean, at that point, you're
the
just
skins-
bad. Like, I'm over
well,
it.
not only that, but the skins would be like relevant to whatever suit they're for.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like you would like if you see Wing Zero running around, you know, oh well, Wing Zero's only the GBO2, so
Or like the 04 because it's got the big
Yeah.
beam and the
Yeah.
odds or whatever.
yeah, like it's not like it's not like you could literally slap on the skin for every single one of your suits, you know. It'd be for particular ones or something. Like Death Scythe could be Gundam Strike or Gundam Striker, the GM Striker, or something like that.
That's
you
an
know?
easy one too. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
could see.
Yeah.
That'd be legit. But yeah, the flight test, I think I definitely want to try it now. It's on my list to actually play this week. So we might bring up some of these changes if anybody has like any experience with these before next time. We'll bring up some of these again. But yeah, I guess we can move on to the desert, Zaku desert type.
Yep.
Again, pretty much what you said though. Like I started using it when it was like the only thing I had, and then once I got something else, I just moved on.
Mm.
Well, I think the suit itself, like, isn't that bad. It has good options. Like, it has a Zaku kit. It
A
has
very
dodge
early
roll.
everything in the kitchen kind of suit.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
that.
I believe that's anti stealth. Like it's got nice stuff going on for it.
That's actually kind of cool. Leg shock absorber
I don't
level
know.
2 at level 4. Like I feel like they're just trying to bring in the higher cost up to the new par of
That's what a lot
power.
of the patch stuff is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just to
It-
note that the changes are just for the level 3 and 4, with the leg skill being just for the level 4.
Yeah, and that's
I
something
mean,
they should have
only
been
the-
doing for a while.
The level 3 only got an HP bonus. Then the level 4 got the level 3 only got 750, and then the level 4 got 1,250 health. That's quite a bit.
Hmm.
I'm kind of hoping that they take more risks with what they incorporate into the higher levels for certain suits, just to make it a little bit more unique. But like, just trying to even bring them up to snuff, and, like,
Well, this is definitely moving in the right
all
direction,
creature
though.
comforts kind of things. Like, that's a good start for sure.
Yeah, just to have incremental skill level ups. Like I don't
Mhm.
know why they did it to Zuda and then did it for no other suit
Nothing else.
like
Yeah.
ever. Well, not ever, but you know what I
Not
mean.
that the
It's
Zuda
not
didn't need
very
it
much.
either, but just it's weird that they picked that suit in particular.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a good example of how levels and
Could
making like
work.
leveling up the suit, like and making the suit actually like incrementally better through its skills makes
Mm.
sense. Like, why doesn't the GM level 6 have a dodge roll or whatever? You know,
Yeah.
um, it's just stuff like that.
Especially now, or even just the Kai. The Kai could stuff like that.
Mm. But a lot of these changes are kind of like what one would expect them to do with level up with skill upgrades. That's kind of just been missing out. Like better late than never, I suppose. Hopefully, it's something that kind of sticks and they kind of do going forward. Because I don't think it'd be too crazy. Um, for adding suits down the line that have skill upgrades. Like obviously for stuff like that's already OP or whatever, it's probably fine. Like I
Mhm.
don't think the level 4 BD2 is gonna need melee combo control at level 2 or anything like that.
I kind of want
Um,
them to do it anyway.
I mean, I do too. I complain about the BD2 having only 2 swings whenever I play it all
Yeah,
the time.
Yeah.
it's a little weird.
I
But that doesn't mean it's bad or anything. Like let's make the suit more OP.
Speaking of 2 swings, Slave Wraith, please just give it some more love. Like they just buffed it, but
Just
they
make it a
didn't do
buff
much.
ground Gundam.
Right?
Pretty much.
That's what it needs to be. At this
Doesn't
point,
need
like
a
I don't even know
doesn't
why
need a
you'd
dodge
hold
roll.
back on that suit.
Like instead of having a little flare stun, it has the like counter play gimmick by looking like a friendly unit or whatever that skill's
Mhm.
called.
Deep cover. It's like false flag or something like that. I think
Yeah.
something along those lines. But deep cover. I'm not a member of enemy team, friends. Deep cover. Why you hit me, teammate? I am ally.
The friendly spy is a spy.
Ah, friendly fire.
um, but yeah, the Zuda F next on the list here is
Zuda's
that's
had
a
a rough run.
buff.
That says Peta F. What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm on the English version right now. It actually has the right name.
Oh man.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, the one reason why I was hoping they had an English version was because when we get down here toward the bottom, there's something that I'm like, what in the world does that even mean? So I'm hoping we actually get the answer because when I was reading it last night, I was like, I think that means this, but when we get to
I
its
have
gun is
no
one of the
idea.
when we get to its gun, that's one of the other things. So like the HP 1,500 added to it. I know that the Zuda F was kind of a glass can in general. Like if I looked at it with being a support, I was just like, you are dead. Um, they buffed its melee modifier to 25 from 15. They
Plus
added
10.
10 speed, so giving it 120
10 speed is
speed,
pretty relevant.
and the unit speed when moving at high speed has been increased.
That's its boost speed.
Yeah, which is just a weird way of putting it in any context.
Yes. We also gave it the skill. We give it overboost as well. That's not true. If only.
If
If there's
only.
any suit that needs overboost, it's the fucking Zuda.
For real though.
It really does. The Zuda, I mean, both of them should have it just for shits. The regular Zuda for
Flavor
sure
wise,
needs it.
for sure.
Yeah.
I don't even think I think it would actually help out the suits a lot, like as well. I
It
think
would
now
help their other
it'll be
options
broken.
too, like when you're not running the anti-ship rifle, you're running like a bazooka or something. You can have a boost and just be
Well,
able
I
to
will
get
say
in there
though,
more.
Here's the thing.
the Zuda at low cost would be pretty hard to catch with
Mhm.
overboost.
Oh my gosh, that would be
Imagine level 1
insane.
Zuda was like
That'd be hilarious.
later,
Though.
guys.
Which that's another thing that I was kind of, which I know was
That's kind of point.
there was a post on Reddit that I commented on like, yeah, you'll be happy the Zuda F is getting a buff because there was just a guy like crying about it, and I was like, he'll be happy when he sees this because here's the crazy thing here: its 95 millimeter rifle got an insane buff. This is gross.
Mhm.
Like 300 damage, and this increases to all levels of this gun. So 300 flat damage, it gets another shot. You have 4 shots in this thing before you have to reload.
Hell yeah.
And the reuse time, that bar across the screen,
Mhm.
has it's faster uptime. So you got a faster fire rate and another shot. What in the world is that? Like, this thing is gross for damage now.
You gotta understand like how hard it was to get people to run the suit though. And like when they did,
Fair
it
enough,
was
but
all frustration and pain.
I
So
mean, when I've
That's
seen
not even
some
it
of them
either.
do well though.
Mhm.
Like the shot has a bigger hitbox,
Hitbox, yeah.
and you
Can
have
you splash the ground? Does it have
Reduced
splash
rigidity
ground?
time.
all of them have always had a slight splash.
Okay, so that's what
Mhm.
I thought when I was talking
Well, I'm
about it.
not sure about the new one, but the anti-ship rifle has always had a small splash.
Yeah, a little bit of it.
It's like you're splashing the pot a little bit, but it's had AoE.
So, yeah, so now it has a better hitbox, which is like, what? For a gun that makes somebody take a knee, a 4th shot, faster reload, and the rigidity time, which is your stop and go. For a second, when I was first reading through the notes last night, I was like, wait, is this like that the upload time, and then it had faster reload? But no, it's faster
They're already
uptime,
at same.
and then your stop and move time is the rigidity time.
Mhm.
So yeah, the thing that you complain about a little bit on like the at guy emblem, this thing got that buffed.
You gotta
This is
skid to
I
a
feel like
halt.
that's more of
Yeah.
the after fire standstill, kind of like the BD1's
Yeah,
chest missile
And
adjustment.
generally just
More
makes it
so.
easier to like snapshot, essentially.
yeah, you can shoot and then move a lot. You can get into the move a lot faster. Someone just said it's safe to say that the Zuda F was finally introduced in the game.
Yeah.
Pretty
I mean,
much.
and that's fair. Like this is probably how it should have been out of the gate. But you think about the stuff that was around when it got introduced. It was a very underperforming suit even then, and people just kind of glossed over it. But I feel like if it had this stuff on it, it would have stood out a lot more.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if this might be just a little much on the buff, like might be over buffed.
If they
I don't know.
did too little, it would have been too little too late. So I
Yeah.
think making it stand out like this now gives it a fair chance.
Oh, also, I
I
think
think
it's
it's
funny at the end of the last post we were looking at, they said we don't like nerfing things, but we'll try not
Here's all
to.
these nerfs.
So I love how they do that each time they come out with a nerf. We always
Yeah.
try to buff things instead of nerf. But yeah,
you gotta
like,
what you gotta do though.
but this over buff could be pretty good though. I'm definitely gonna try it out now. Like that's the other thing. It was a
And
general.
you're seeing them more, like the level ones are getting whipped out in ace matches right now.
Yeah, I might try to actually play this in the next couple of days if I can. Pretty much any of these except for the desert type. I'm sorry, Zaku desert type. But
Oh, poor baby.
yeah, I think this thing
I
is
think it
gonna be
helps.
gross. What do you guys think?
I'm ready.
It'll definitely help. It's got a lot of big changes. 10 speed doesn't seem like a lot, but the only part in the game that changes your speed gives you 5. So
Mhm.
10 is pretty good, and maneuverability is always a big deal. So I think it'll be pretty good.
Um,
Then we got the power GM.
which I was kind of
If it's
surprised
one
to
change,
see because
we'll take.
it did pretty good in ranked, I thought. Like when I
Mhm.
saw it, it was solid.
I think it's also
Wow.
competing with the custom and the Nemo and the GM2 to a certain extent, depending on the cost.
I was gonna say this is only for the 500 cost one, so
So
Hmm.
that's
yeah, definitely 500 cost too. Like it needs help. Any suit like that
Yeah.
needs help. And
I
like the
always thought the power
Gundam is
team was kind of
already
cool
having a hard
anyway.
time, like the grandpa.
yeah, that's
So the
true.
power GM being a little bit under that too, like yeah, fuck it, just give it to it. Extra
So
speed, shock absorbers, quick boost, like that's pretty nice.
yeah, definitely good quality of life for that cost range.
Hmm.
But
I still think leg absorber level adjustment thing is kind of just like fluff though. Like
Yeah, it's a formality for sure.
yeah,
yeah, because I mean, just imagine this patch notes about the speed change. Like, would you think it? Could you even consider it a buff if
no,
all they changed was the leg buff?
No.
Like,
because the leg shock absorber really is only for
what's only relevant in like some cases. I mean, I get what it does,
Yeah,
and
it's
like
relevant
those.
in the late life of a suit, but at that point,
Mhm.
you're probably already gonna die.
Well, and then yeah, I mean,
'Cause, I
So
mean, all I see with the
you
power gene
appreciate
buff
it
is the
being
speed
there, but
increase.
yeah,
I mean,
Mhm.
just go. I mean, it's already there at level 2. Like the level 3, you're probably almost dead by the point the level 3 actually helps you out at all.
mhm,
'Cause it's just not as impactful as, say, the difference between level 1 and level 2 force injection, for instance.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, level 2 force injection is like a completely different beast than level 1, depending on the suit. Like, the consumption rate on the cancels are just, like,
they don't
nice.
exist.
Yeah, it's much better. That's why, like, when they added it to the well, that's something else. I'll get into that later. We'll get into it a little
Yeah,
bit,
we're
but
getting there.
Oh, so this is interesting. The next suit, I just realized
Rip
this says
Dom.
Rick Dom 2.
Yep,
I'm pretty sure the Japanese notes say Rick Dom.
yeah, mine just says Rick Dom. That's interesting.
Hmm.
increase unit speed moving left and right on ground. That's
Shoot,
not
the
bad.
Rick Dom could use a buff too.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious if this is both or just which
It
one this
might be
actually
both,
is. But yeah, the pretty much this is quality of life for moving around as a Scooty Dom.
which is nice because this is something that they did. Remember when they did it for Dom
Okay,
back in
so
the day?
they already did this for the other ones?
They tightened up its movement so that it wasn't scooting as much,
Yeah.
ironically.
So
So they did it very early on to the Dom, and then like that was around the time that the Tropin was introduced. So people were like, "Well, I'm still probably gonna run the Tropin and like other stuff," but it just quality of life going forward for Scooty suits is definitely what this is about.
Well, the way it reads though, is that better? Because I mean, I read increase the amount of movement due to inertia when stopping on the ground or high speed movement, as in like you slide more. Um, like if it said decrease, I think that makes sense, but that
Mhm.
doesn't look like a buff to me.
yeah, it might be a nerf actually. Hmm.
It all depends too, because you also have remember the armored GM was almost like a retro Dom in terms of its movement too. People do pretty well in that. Despite that, I think also just because it's a smaller suit that has like a little bit more protection on it with the shield and all that, though. It'll be interesting to see how people run the Rick Dom too, though. Because
So
I think does it have preference for space?
they say this is a buff,
Mm.
and I think it does have preference for space. So yeah, Rick
Risk,
Dom
So it'll
2
it'll be a little bit more responsive in tight in space anyway, but like on the ground, it'll probably still have a hard time if it
upward
really does scoot
correction.
more.
Rick Dom 2 adjusted for ground performance only.
Mm.
Interesting.
On the
Huh.
ground, improved mobility. Adjusted slip when switching direction on the ground and improved mobility. Which to me means that there's a little less momentum when you're trying to change directions. It's probably a bit
yeah,
tighter.
Yeah.
I could see
So,
that.
like, that's the kind of stuff that you're expecting in terms of an improvement.
The other two just kind of like in the opposite directions,
It's like,
so
"Are you
just at
guys
least from
sure?"
I can read.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, like
Um,
So here's my question. Was the quality of life, I'm just gonna call it quality of life, was the quality of life here for the Rick Dom and like is here a normal Dom and so is the Rick Dom up here now, or was the Rick Dom like here and then now the Rick Dom's being brought up to the Dom?
yeah, it's hard to say. I mainly only played Rick Dom 2 in space, and it seemed fine. So, like, as far as it goes on the ground, it'd be hard for me to say. I always felt like they're in a pretty similar place, but
Yeah,
really don't
so
see Dom or Rick Dom very much, or Rick Dom 2, I should say, very much.
I might try to
Um,
test this out just one day this week, just kinda go in and just go into a custom and then just move back and forth and just see what happens and then swap to like a Dom and see what happens kind of thing.
hmm.
Because I'm curious to see
Yeah,
if
it's like it's
like this is
definitely
being
goes
brought
ways and
up
such.
or is it actually going above? Because I mean, technically it is Rick Dom 2. It's supposed to be more advanced for what it is, I think, lore
more or
wise.
less.
So if it had what would be considered less movement, that would have been really surprising to begin with.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it'd be cool to see. I mean, Scooty suits and Doms are there's certain people who play them like, and those who do just do really well with it. Kind of crazy.
I think the suits are effective, that's for sure. Floating movement's just awkward, and you have to definitely play it.
Yeah, kind of like people who play tanks, like or snipers or supports. Like, not me. I'm not unless it's a Hildoffer or assault, but that's a different kind of tank.
I actually tried the assault a couple of matches ago, and that was pretty nice. I remember we were talking originally, like I think the tanks were supposed to get like some debuffs, and it didn't seem like they got hit that bad. From what we were
A
looking
lot
at
of
in
it
the
was just
details.
a little bit of speed, damage, and smoke discharger, and
And
time between
health.
shots,
Hmm.
and health.
I don't know. I feel like the assault. And I believe this is just the level 1s though. So the level 2s I think are still where they were at, except for the damage on a couple of the guns. But the uh, level 1 assault gun tank, I don't know. I feel like it got with this nerf. I feel like it's kind of gutted compared to the Hildoffer. I mean, it's probably, and by that I mean it's balanced. It's actually a
Yeah.
balanced
Well,
suit.
here before we get into it though,
Yeah.
let's make sure we stay on track at this.
Yeah,
I agree
Gogu
with you,
Haimo.
a little bit, but yeah.
So Gogu Haimo,
Um,
and this is the level 2, so this is the 500 cost. VG, and kind of again what you said before, like the higher levels of stuff. Normally, the level 1 is the best version. I say level 1 VG is right where it needs to be. It's I would say for me where I play supports, I love the VG. Just at 450
Mm.
cost, I do great with it. But I can see the 500 kind of slipping as far as stats go. So we got health and speed, 5 speed and another 500 health. And then they decided to buff the grenade launcher. So reload time, I guess, is for all Gogu grenade launchers, but the level 2 got increased
increase in damage.
155 damage, so 1,000 damage
Mm,
now. So
Yeah, it's
it
pretty
should be
good.
good.
Just a
Speed is always
flat
real.
1,000 too, like shit.
yeah, still a pretty good amount of damage.
And it's nice because a lot of people did get the VG level 1 as that drop a while
Yeah,
back too.
Yeah, Team
Giving
Pink
more
or
utility.
whatever it was.
yeah, whatever the
Yeah.
team.
Version of it.
Giving more utility to a suit that more people have is always good.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
this is the level 2 version though, but I mean, still the reduced reload time. I'll take it. That's the level 1
Yeah,
anyway, at
it's
least.
always nice.
Um,
Also, for those of you following at home, be is aware, VG stands for Vincent Glessner.
It's true. Oh god.
what
I
happened?
always try to say like Gleisner or like Gleisner, but it's like,
Lesnar? Which
That's how I say it. I mean,
Lesnar?
it might
Okay.
not be right, but they could probably Google it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like I'm
Google it.
not sure on that either.
Google it.
Ow.
See what happens.
That's Google.
It's always funny trying to figure out how things are pronounced too, because like kind of like bringing up the Comfer example, like depending on if it's like what is it High German? I think is yeah. If it's like High German, you say Kempfer instead of Comfer, which is I was just like okay, it's kind of cool.
The more you
The
know.
more you, yeah, there we go. But yeah, as far as the VG goes, I think it'll be pretty cool. It'd be cool to see more of those in higher cost because I don't really see it at
It's always
500.
pretty solid.
Like I see it a lot at 450, but at 500 I don't see it too much. Maybe its availability might be the other thing. But
That's definitely always a thing.
so supports. If we don't have anything else on the VG,
Yeah, the VG adjustment was pretty small.
so
Good, but small.
Zaku 1 sniper. So we got a little bit of thruster, a little bit of speed, and this is only the level 3. And then the frontline support system goes to level 2 instead of level 1, which I think is 15% over 10. Is that right?
I believe so.
And that's the respawn time thing, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of cool. I mean, I'll take any maneuverability I can get, and then at that cost, that's the 450, right? Think.
Starts at 300.
Oh, it starts at
So
300, so that's the 400.
yeah.
Okay.
400.
So at 400, I mean, you have like the Dom Barrage and stuff like that, which has like 130 to its like movement and stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, getting a little more boost to that is pretty nice. Like I think that'll bring it in line with other suits that just have a whole lot better mobility. And
It'll definitely help.
The multi-gun
It'll
getting
help
some
get
other
this.
nice.
yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, pretty simple buff to the Zaku one. Like that's cool. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. Cool. Well, hopefully it helps. Hopefully it helps quality of life.
I'd open at the higher cost. I mean, Zaku 1 Sniper is one of those suits that can definitely throw down with the boys. The Magella cannon puts to a knee. You have a Stormfaust. Um, you have one of the better like lower cost down swings in the game. In
You
the
also have
form
a
of the
long
little,
machine gun that you can run.
Yeah.
you have a shoulder. You have a
Hey,
shoulder
hey!
charge
I
down
like
swing.
that gun. I love that gun.
Sorry, the Machine Beast God or whatever. I've seen it called on Reddit before. Not for me.
The true connoisseur's rifle.
Yeah.
um. So yeah, Dom multi-cannon. I cannot wait to play this thing. This is yes, please. So we get speed going up to 135,
Mhm.
which if that's at the level 1 as well that's getting affected by that, because I noticed the note is level 2 for the HP increase. That's
Mhm.
a very fast suit for 350 cost. I'm just saying.
It's not bad.
I'm gonna have 140 with my like speed. I don't know how many high or close range it has, but if it doesn't, I know what I'm spending my random enhancement tickets on if that thing's not a 3-star or 2-star even.
Mhm.
Probably a 2-star. But yeah, that's gonna be insane. Then the level 2 gets 1,000 health for 16,000. And then this is one reason why I'm hyped about it. Uh the shoulder twin middle cannon. Like that.
Ammo increase and the rigidity of time or the
eh,
rigidity time.
Yeah, so you can get out of your getting stuck a little bit faster and then having 2 more shots, that is insane.
It's one extra shot.
Wait, it's 1?
6 to
Mhm.
8.
The
Oh
cannon,
yeah,
there's
that's
2
right
cannons.
because it's 2.
Oh yeah, it's
That's
2,
right.
it's 1. Yeah, that's right. So you have 4 shots.
2 per hit, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, 1 extra shot, 2 extra bullets. But still, kind of the same thing with the Zuda F, like getting that extra shot is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it's definitely relevant.
Um So I'm pretty excited for this one. I can't wait to see because the biggest thing that when anybody's asked anything about it, my thing is, I mean, it's good. You can combo really well with people because you got all the stuns and everything else. Uh, with the speed being what it is, it's always nice to fly around with that. And now it's even faster, so double nice. And
It's like a low cost rock.
yeah, pretty much. Except for the problem has been its DPS has been kind of low, where like Motor Rock I'd say is definitely on the higher end.
Mhm.
Like now with this extra shot, that definitely helps. I've been really wanting them to up the damage of the Dom cannon.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I know I've always felt underwhelmed whenever I played it, but I'm no support player, so I feel like in the right hands, the Dom multi cannon is definitely a good suit though, because it could be hard to keep up with. That's for sure.
Totally not getting in there with the long machine gun.
Absolutely not.
Um, so I guess we could move on to the full armor Type B, which was really surprising that they would do this.
I thought it was interesting too.
Because I think it's already in a fantastic like spot right now. So to see
Mhm.
it like get a buff, I'm like, I really want this thing now. Yes, please. Um, So here's one weird thing. So the reduced reload time for its cannon, that's cool, right? That makes sense.
Right.
The rigidity time, that makes sense. But what in the world? Increased staggering value? Like, is that against maneuver armor? Is that what that means?
That might be. You know what? I'm talking about that. I'm a little interested. Like if they get more liberal with giving higher level maneuver suits in the future, having other weapons be able to break through like lower end maneuver kind of shitty for raid players, but also kind of interesting once you actually discover what does what.
Yeah, like I wonder if you can break level 1 maneuver armor now with that cannon. I would like to test that out.
I hope not.
I was gonna say
I mean,
emblem's gonna be. I can already hear the emblem.
if you
When they
can
talk to me.
if you can break level 1 with it, I mean at 500 cost, oof, man. And then like what I was guessing is you could shoot with that and then you shoot with the missile or anything else and you're going to stagger them pretty quick. So you might be able to pull off some pretty cool like maneuver armor breaks, but like last second. So you have to hit them when they first start boosting at you, and then you might get one beam off in them, and then they get staggered from it. Or you switch to your missiles and you hit them with the missiles and get that stagger off. So that's what I was guessing when I read the notes last night. But if it somehow can break level 1 maneuver armor with just the cannon,
That'd be kind of dope.
big oof
It'd
and
probably be the
awesome.
same thing, but it could be changing to like the kind of stagger it is too, right?
Like it gives it like a hard stagger instead. Yeah.
Yeah, which would be the same thing of breaking through maneuver armor, but
Yeah, I was gonna
Also
say
kind of red though.
that is a good point. It could. I wonder if it does a hard stagger now. I need to test this out. We need to get somebody with one.
yeah.
That's the other thing.
But yeah, and then the missiles reduced reload time, and they got the hitbox. I don't feel like it really needed that, but okay, sure. Let's go.
Yeah, the B type in
Uh,
general is a little weird with the changes because it's still relatively fresh. But I feel like for all the weapons they threw on it, a lot of them are just kind of afterthoughts or like for flavor. You're still gonna be leaning on that cannon a lot more. The big missile as opposed to like even the multi-tube. It's like, well, you can definitely follow up with certain things, but you definitely that's one of those things where you have to be very opportunistic in that suit in order to get off a lot of those hits.
yeah, the multi cannons or multi tube is honestly kind of always been kind of weird anyway. So they're making it a little
Mhm.
bit easier to hit. Doesn't seem bad to me because on both of them it's more just like a
Yeah. Just let
very
me barf my
close
missiles,
range. Just
damn
like
it.
oh
Oh god. And just like peed himself, but in missile form.
But
we'll see. I mean, I think the full armor type B runs into all the same low mobility
Yeah.
support problems. I don't like if the stagger value is a knee stagger, that'll definitely help it. That's honestly that and the reload time is probably like the two biggest things that'll help out the suit.
Technically, it should
If
be
that's how it
worse
works.
too because it just has more weapons on.
But I mean, I still don't think the full armor type B is in a worse spot than the normal full armor by any means.
No.
I actually think
So
it's better though. Like,
the type B.
yeah, the one thing though that you have to kind of change when you're playing it is
Hmm.
when you shoot the cannon, instead of going to the beam, I think the better way to do it is go to the multi-missile launcher. And with the
Right.
buff now, for sure.
Yeah,
But
because it'll
you
just
do
be more consistent.
cannon and missiles because you can actually swap to it and missile somebody as a reaction because that bar, when you swap to the beam, actually takes longer now. So they can already start moving and, you actually have to aim the beam. So if you're really good at aiming, then go back to the beam. But if you're like me and love the ASL weapons, then go to the missiles, and that's normally where I do really good work. And then the super missile is just an afterthought that's like, oh, I can get this off now. Or my favorite way to use it is there's a raid coming at me. I need a hard stagger. Let's pull out this missile and
Give us something to
hopefully
think about real quick.
hopefully not hit myself
Mhm.
in the explosion and take both of us to a knee. But at the worst, it's mutually assured knee stagger.
Right.
So and just shoot the ground or something with that because that thing is way too slow to really combo into somebody.
Hmm.
And I mean, it does a lot of damage though. So I mean, shooting at somebody on the ground maybe, but other than that, like I hardly ever would get that off as a actual combo. So pretty much cannon beam or cannon missiles, and just alternate between which one I have up. And if the missiles actually reload fast enough, you could just do cannon missiles maybe. But that'll need to be seen.
Knee stagger would be an interesting touch. I think it would definitely push the power level to suit for sure.
Doesn't it also have the useless missiles that the full armor has? They need to buff the useless missiles.
You talk the little like box of missiles or
Yeah,
whatever.
like
Yeah,
they just need to make
missile
it
pad.
like an actual shotgun of missiles that you can hit most of the time or something, because like I see people using that uses the full armor and I'm just like, did you really just waste the time hitting me with one missile? Like I have to stop and just like feel sorry for the guy who shot me with that one missile for a second, and then proceed to be like, okay, well, here's my missiles out of the Dom Barrage. Goodbye. But yeah, definitely, it's kind of painful when I see full armors use the actual missile thing.
It's just a game of pitying each other. The guy's like, oh, poor guy's in a Dom Barrage, and man's real like, this guy over here, look at him. It's an unending cycle of pity.
All for different reasons.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
So on the wiki now,
Hmm.
the canon actually now says, so on the Japanese wiki, it does an 80% accumulative stagger, whereas for maneuver armor and shields, where it was 0 before
Oh.
for the
Interesting.
Type B.
So
Yeah, that's actually a
that's
pretty
pretty
big
much in a
deal.
case where if they're maneuvered at all, or if they have any built up stagger, it's probably going to stun them out of their maneuver armor and stuff.
Yeah, or even
That's
you
pretty
can
scary.
open up with it and then go to the missiles, probably. And
Yeah.
yeah, so that's pretty legit. I wonder what the actual. Might have to check out the wiki and kind of pick around with a couple of those, because I'm kind of curious what the cumulative stagger for the just normal full armor is, if any at all.
It might be low as well. I think the cannons generally don't have a lot of that going for them. I think.
Yeah, most of
I
the
feel
time
like the
that's the
guys
case.
that check the percentages on those, they have to almost be like old Monster Hunter wiki people who like literally sit there and just like figure out all the thresholds for like spot to spot for all these
That could be
weapons.
data mining though.
Yeah, some of it
It's
can be data
possible.
mining, and then the other that's probably the case these days.
Just to make it easier on themselves.
Well, I mean, you can
I hope.
like I've
I
got
haven't
my
ever
own hard
found,
drive,
like exact values without being able to like data mine and look at the raw data itself.
and the thing is now, since you can just take an SSD and throw into your PlayStation, you can just take that out and then look at the actual files of the game. So like that's it. Yeah, it's gotten pretty legit. Before, when it was console stuff, it used to be pretty safe as far as like the amount of work that it would take to get to it, but these days it's pretty quick to get that stuff. So um yeah, that's kind of cool. Definitely need to check out the wiki a little bit more for that stuff, because I like to know what I could combo just to get some cheesy moves off on some raids. I'll take that
Yeah, the
info.
Japanese wiki is a literal database.
Yeah. So okay, so now that we know what that is, let's get into the Nerf Tildoffer level 1 and the assault gun tank.
Wow, wow, wow.
So
Also nerfed.
they both got the same treatment for the performance part. So the level 1 units assault cannon form speed, so it's tank mode, fast tank mode, is now at 170 speed instead of 180. And they adjusted the cannon form reversing speed as well. I know what was kind of crazy is when I like roll up on somebody, I just be like bump, then I could sometimes back up into somebody behind me and bump them, and then kind of go forward and bump the next guy in front of him, and like just jump into a team and like staggers for
Just bump them
everybody.
all to death.
Yeah.
And
And them reversing, like you just have them like reversing away from you, and you never catch them, and you just like blast you and laugh and Hildolfer as they run away.
pretty much.
Now it takes a second.
So they also both lost 1,000 health, which I could see that for the Hildoffer. What kind of is weird though is I kind of feel like oof for the assault gun tank, because I feel like it actually has worse performance. I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like it has worse performance than the Hildoffer, and for it to have like less stats than the Hildoffer is kind of a little odd to me.
Yeah. I think them lumping both together and doing like a general blanket is a little unfair to the assault gun tank. Like there could be an argument that you can get the same performance out of both, but like if you can, it looks like it's way easier on the Hildolfer, man.
I mean, well, that's the other thing too. Like you have the missiles when you're not in tank mode on the assault gun tank, and you have the
Well, you can use the missiles in the assault tank mode.
Yeah,
Too.
missiles and MG in
mm,
tank mode.
You definitely can
the
for the
side
assault gun tank.
missiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about the ones that like shoot out of the little.
It changes my maybe I have
Are
to
we
put it in tank mode.
thinking of the same missiles?
Yeah, oh, whoops. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but let me. Oh, my PlayStation turned off. Whoops.
I was gonna say because I played my first match in it earlier today, and like
Okay, so you're talking about the
an
box
MG.
missiles.
I'm talking the box
Oh,
missiles on the side. They go pew
Yeah,
pew
those
pew,
are
kind of
different.
like the
I'm talking
Dom
about
Barrage.
that come out of the arms.
Oh no, the one on the arms, those are pretty strong, yeah. But the thing is, so you got the because what it replaces on mine is the little ejected like mine kind of thing barrels out of the back. So I mean, you could kind of argue that those are a thing, but good luck hitting somebody with them, I guess. And then the other missiles, the missile pods on the side are a bit slow. So you don't have too many cases where you can actually utilize that. So, I mean, if you want to talk straight numbers on paper, it looks good, but using it feels pretty meh as far as those extra weapons. Whereas the Hildoffer, you got okay, you're taking a knee, then I'm gonna stagger you again with the cannon, then I'm gonna bump you, and then or then I'm gonna hit you with the AOE cannon, and bump you at the same time, so you're staggered again. Then I'm gonna hit you with the cannon again. The only difference is you can't go back to the AOE cannon and use it now in a decent time. Looks like. So that's gonna be the weird one. So
Yeah, the swap times are a bit longer.
So the swap time for the AOE cannon is going to be interesting to see how that takes effect, because it's like
Not swap time. I guess time between shots. Would be
yeah.
a better way to put it.
So I guess the first time you still get that combo off, like I said, but the second time you might not be able to, because normally you could take a knee, stagger with the normal cannon, bump AOE, stagger with the normal cannon, AOE, and then if you're able to then get another bump stagger, you could, but by then you're probably you don't have too many other weapons you can fire at them, or you're about to do the cannon again. So it's like at that point you're running off and waiting for round 2. But I mean, it's a nasty combo when you can get that off. So, and I mean, that's a pretty obvious combo to do. Whereas the assault gun tank, you have your cannon, your missile thing, and then machine gun or
And also
mines
butt bombs.
or butt bombs. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much your only 2 options. We're back to the cannon, I guess.
MG missiles,
Which is
butt
weird.
bomb.
So, I mean, again, if somebody's really good at that, then cool. I was just wondering if you could ever like drift and then butt bomb out, and then it like lands and boom explodes into them.
I mean, you can also do a jump off like the overpasses and stuff in city and just
Oh, that
shit
would be good.
bounce from the sky. Like that was hilarious.
Oh man.
I
So
think
yeah,
I've never seen it happen, but it doesn't seem impossible either. That's interesting.
yeah, it would be a funny thing to see happen, but I don't think it's gonna be like. I
It's
mean,
not gonna be what wins the match for sure, unless it
there's
does. In which
probably
case,
one
that'd be
guy.
hilarious.
There's probably one guy out there who like
It
plays
didn't
it
win the
like
match.
this.
It didn't win the match for me, but like it was fun to do.
Well, you just do it during your mix up, and when you get the last kill from it, they just show your assault gun
So
tank with some glasses on.
Flying down, just like
just shitting out bombs as it falls. Oh man. It's
But
a fun suit. It definitely has good utility, but it's also for the memes.
pretty much.
That'd be a good little thing on a flight suit, like something that does bombing attacks.
Mhm.
Got on to just kind of like thinking about that. That'd be interesting.
Oh, also the flamethrower. Actually, you can arc that over stuff. I didn't even pay attention to that. So.
Yeah, that's true.
And it does have that
Get some
weapon,
good
so there's
arc out.
another weapon that it has too. But I don't know. It just feels a little bit underwhelming compared to the Hildoffer, and just to see the cannon also get nerfed by 200 damage.
Yeah, like that seemed kind of uncalled for because it's still one of its primary weapons.
Yeah, like, and yes, the APFSDS cannon from the Hildoffer is a one shot, and then you have to reload for
Hard
quite a
stagger,
while.
take a knee.
But it's a hard stagger, take a knee. So there you go. Also, by the way, I'm gonna throw this idea out there. How about the Zommel has a transformation mode of sorts, where it just goes into super boost mode, where it's just fast. Like it just gains that speed while you're in the boost mode. So you're essentially boosting all the time with the Hildoffer as you normally move. And you can move in every direction like it normally does. It's just high speed mode, and it slowly runs up your boost gauge.
Give it like a unique overboost kind of thing.
Or, well, I mean, not even an
Why don't you
overboost, but just like it's just a fast mode that's always boosting, whereas and you can just move it in any direction kind of thing rather than
And
kinda
you
like
don't
that.
have to stop to take your shot.
Yeah, that too. So you could just be like, boom, take a knee.
Because I'll be honest, like running that suit lately, it's been nice to not even scope up. Like I've just been doing like snapshots while on the move because of its extra little bit of maneuverability despite its size, and it's actually worked out pretty well. Like I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's like I just think it needs one little extra thing just because it's so big. Just to have like
how about they had a transformation mechanic where it opens up like the Lotus Petal ship from G Gundam, and you just start playing the Shining Gundam instead. Like, how about that? Let's just
Can
like
we
make it
can
to
we
where you're
have
not
that
playing
be
the
in an
Zommel.
April?
just not play the Zommel. I mean, that's been
yeah,
my
like-
answer so far most of the time.
Yeah,
But
you hit the transform button, and all of a sudden you're in a different support.
I've been
That's-
like,
That sounds too shitty though. Like just give it a shot if you can.
but yeah, I've been trying it recently just because it's like, okay, there's all this other stuff coming in. I'm gonna try to play it, and
I've been pleasantly surprised with the times that I've played it, but is it what I'm gonna whip out most of the time? No, for sure not.
I'm giving it a hard time, but I don't know. It's just another one of those suits that, like, I don't know if it necessarily needs a buff. It just needs a good team. And granted, that's very hard to find in a pickup match, but you just kind of have to support your tank players because, I mean, it has what it needs to put out good damage. It's just if it gets caught out by itself, it's going to be in an awkward spot.
It's not very self-sufficient, and I feel like going forward, supports, because they're supposed to be the supports for the team, they need some more self-sufficiency.
just a little bit. But I mean, I played it last night, and or either it was last night or for the dailies yesterday afternoon, evening ish, and I mean, it was a pretty good game. We almost won. It started off really strong, and then it just kind of fell apart because then like they started breaking our line. But while we still had a line going on, we were decimating the enemy team. So pretty much what you said, you kind of just need a team. And while we were together, it was really good. was good times.
Mm.
And then after it, it was just like, but although I'm really sad at the Dom Barrage that was on the enemy team though. They won, but he was just gattling me the entire time. I was just like, missile me,
Okay.
missile me, just do it. I'm a giant target. There's nothing I can do. Like, kill me faster, please. You're making me sad. And he was in a 500 cost one too because it was a 550 game. So it was just like, oh my gosh, I want that Dom so bad.
Take it from him next time. Hijack his mobile suit every
Yeah.
time he spawns.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Like, oh, thank you very much.
I love doing that. I love planting the bomb just to hope that somebody's gonna get out, and then I just wait there, like where they get out, and I just kind of take 2 steps. Like I'm like, please don't notice me or accidentally run over me. And then they get out and go, and I'm just like, cool, and then just go up to it and then capture it as they're going in to defuse the bomb. And I'm like, thanks for your suit. It's the new one. I wanted to test it out. Peace.
This is for science. Leave me
Yeah,
alone.
I got
Doing
1
it for the
minute.
content.
Yeah, 1 minute to see what this suit's like. But okay. So any other thoughts on the nerfs to the tanks?
Nah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
guess the weird thing is the smoke discharge thing. Like, cool.
Well, I mean, it's kind of silly. You pretty much the smoke discharge was pretty much ready to go within a few seconds
Of
of
like when it got done,
it
but
ended.
Yeah.
So you had like pseudo infinite stealth. Like it was
that is true.
definitely a good thing.
That's something I don't take advantage of as much as I should on both. So, namely because there's so many
Gotta keep that
weapons on the
smoke
gun
cloud up.
tank.
I'm too busy attacking you guys.
There-
Like, I'm not worried about it.
There's like
They
50 of
should,
them on the, or well, actually there is 8 weapons on the gun tank. So fair enough. I normally cycle to it on the Hidoffer, but cycling to it on the gun tank is like, yeah, I'll get there at some point. Like I
And we
only,
get into the raid.
yeah.
Yep. Got pulled up.
Okay, so the Unit 5 gaining Force Injector level 1.
And that's it.
Boo! Boo!
Interesting addition. Weird suit to give it to.
I don't know. I've voiced how I feel about Force Injector. It
Yeah.
should have, if they were going to give it to it, should have been at least level 2. I don't know. I just
Cool, I guess.
Like
just
its big gimmick thing makes it stand still too. So it's just, I guess if you're trying to get out of that position, it'll help a little bit, but you're gonna burn through your shit so fast.
Yeah, I mean, like every time, most of the time when I see maneuver or Force Injector in play, it's like Cheeky's campers. They're just like literally just zigzagging in front of you and like the same spot, man. It's just like, dude, you're just throwing away all your thrust. What are you doing? Like, I'm gonna confuse you.
Oh, you can't touch me! Oh, bam!
I'm just gonna wait for you to stop just darting around right in front of my face. You know,
Oh,
like
ran out of fuel. Oopsie.
I will say there are times when like you have one of those like oh shit moments and you're like you're like dash around a corner and there's like a scary jump like oh shit and get back. I've had those into Pixie, but like I don't know.
I've had good moments like that in the G3 and the Shiki. Those are suits that I feel like you really got to be on a swivel with, especially when people start to close in on you. But the Unit 5, you can play it aggressively like that, but its main draw is that Gatling.
Yeah.
Like, you really shouldn't ignore it.
I don't know. Like I think
I know a lot of people that try to like Red Zuka with it, and it's like, okay, I get it.
Well,
there's a lot of other
don't run
suits
a
that you should
bazooka.
probably be just running instead.
I think you have to get melee in with the Red Gundam in order to
It
pull
does
out
have
its
3,
potential.
so that is true. It does
Yeah,
have a good
like,
melee.
I view the DACA as just like long range poke and like finisher more than anything else. Like it's a sub weapon. It's got good range.
For
And
me,
over
it's
time
just
can hit
like
for a lot.
zoning for supports because
Yeah,
no one's gonna pay
why we
attention
can't
to
do
them
that, right?
otherwise, and that's still
But I mean,
ultimately your job, and you can at least initiate in that job a little bit earlier than actually having to like close in on them.
It does have really
yeah,
good
but
range.
I think you have to push. I think you have to push for melee damage with the unit with Red Gundam in order to be able to really pull out its big boy damage numbers though.
I can agree with that.
So I could just have a melee preference.
I mean, I just like that I can take out a support from range. Like anything that allows a raid to take out a support from range. As a support player, I am really scared.
Yeah,
Like
because
for
that
instance,
hyper
the
beam rifle is no
Flipper.
joke with its output too. On top of that,
Yeah, for sure.
like it's not just the Gatling gun, but the Gatling gun is just nice to have for that extra pressure.
Also, the position that its shield kind of takes when you're like crouched during the
Yeah, but like
Gatling is
puts
pretty
it in
nice.
front of itself.
Yeah. But yeah, we got some really cool buffs here for the Goof and the Goof Custom for their, well, I guess their higher cost
Here, before we
values.
go to the
Somewhere in the distance,
one more
there's happy GIF noises happening.
Yeah, maybe.
Did I hear
There's
Chad?
one more thing on the Unit 5.
Yeah,
Like I think Red Gundam should have gotten like I think it's like kind of in a good spot. Just one thing I noticed from like the more recent matches, especially
mhm.
with them pushing the power level on higher cost. Like just 500 is a really good example with the Rick Diaz and the Mark II. Like
Oh
the
yeah,
level 2, it feels really rough to play in those costs. Like with the unreliability of North American maneuver armor, like them having 2 stuns like makes it really rough.
yeah.
Because like you maneuver armor through something and like maybe you do something, just them having a backup stun, you're just like a sitting duck. After you've after you've like done your thing. I don't know. It's interesting. Like I don't know if like my answer is necessarily like give it a dodge roll, but maybe they need
Honestly,
to give
give
it
it
a
a
dodge
dodge roll
roll.
at this point.
They need to give it a dodge roll. I don't
Shit, at
know.
least at level 3 too, right? Because all those things that are a problem at 500 are only going to be more accentuated at 550.
Right. And if Force Injector doesn't solve the issue that I have in my matches with Red Gundam, and I feel like it's mainly going to be relevant for it. I mean, I still stand by Suits of Ambac and Force Injector. Pretty
Mhm.
much like they in space, they can kind of do the same thing.
I'd
And
almost
so,
say give it more speed, to be honest.
yeah, I don't know. It needed something else. Force Injector wasn't it though, in
No.
my opinion.
If it was going to give Force Injector, it needed more capacity for thrust or just more speed.
Well, it's probably fine in
Like,
space. Like on the
that's
ground,
like
you're
the
probably
first
going to run
step.
out of thrust fast.
Yeah.
But I agree with you there, though. Or if at the very least, if they're gonna give it, if Force Injector was their like grand scheme of making the suit
Give it a
relevant,
higher level of it.
they should have given it
Give it
level
level
2.
2, yeah. I could see
Yeah.
that.
So it's not burning through its shit as fast.
Hmm. They were sitting over at the operations table, wondering how they were gonna buff the Ak guy again. And they're like, "Well, let's give Red Gundam maneuver armor or Force Injector." Genius. All right, what next overpowered Gundam are we gonna put into the game? They're like Zeta Gundam needs at least 3 instant
Full
hearts.
armored Zeta Gundam.
Oh my gosh, if that ever becomes a thing, that is the day that I actually will.
I know that the Shiki is pretty much just the Proto Zeta in a lot of cases, but I'm still kind of holding out for one of those out before we actually get like the full on Zeta Gundam.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, getting the super versions of the Shiki would be nice.
Okay,
But I
so
digress. We can go into the goof now. I said one more point with the Unit 5.
so I'm pretty happy about this because I love playing the Goof, and I pretty much use it at 250 and that's it. So I might be checking it out at higher cost now.
Well, it kind of sucks though, because level 1, the only relevant change for level 1 is the heat rod adjustment.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Which
and
yeah.
whatever the reduced blur caused by rapid fire means.
I'm not sure what that is actually.
I'm not sure what that means either. Actually, I've never
Yeah.
noticed a blur when I'm when I'm
If
firing my finger
anybody
Vulcans.
in chat of any chat knows what that is, then please let us know. Blur is recoil.
That's a
Okay.
weird way to put it, but okay. Thank you, Japan.
Okay, well, there's that. Because that's the most confused. When I was reading these last night, I was like, I do not know what that is. I guess that's a weird translation. We'll figure it out when it comes out in the English notes. And then here they are. And I'm like, it still says blur. But it's recoil. Okay. That's kind of weird.
Remember, it's used to compensating for already, but I've never even noticed much recoil when I'm
Yeah, I was
firing
going to
finger
say, I'm
Vulcans.
like,
I don't know. That's interesting.
Oh,
hmm.
I feel like there's like some guns that have pickup, I guess, but I don't really notice recoil being a big problem in
I mean,
battle
the
mode,
only one that
honestly.
I know that has that problem is the cold districts. That's it. Like
Mhm.
that's the only one
And
that I
like if
know.
if you hold the button down for like the G line assault, sometimes it kind of juts up. But that's literally if you're not adjusting it at all. Like if you're not trying to hold it
I
still.
guess
Like some guns
I was
do
gonna say I
that.
guess it
Well,
does
Red
too.
Gundam has it too a little bit, but
Mm.
like, you
But it's
know,
never
that's after
significant enough for me to like be like, "Whoa, Nelly, calm
Yeah.
down."
Like about the
yeah,
only one that I
I've
know that
never had
has
an
it
issue
is
with
the
recoil.
cold district, and that's just probably because that's the only one I've noticed it on because I had to
Some
adjust.
fucking bullet hose on there.
Yeah. So
That's interesting.
that's what all of these mean. Okay, got it. Nailed it. But as far as each level, we've got health increase. So at level 2, it went up to 13,000. Level 3 went up to 14,500, and level 4, 16,000. Then level 3 got 5 more movement or 5 more speed for 135. Quick boost went to level 3 instead of level 2, and then level 4
Boost.
got those same changes with thrusters going up to 65. And the leg shock absorber level 3, yeah.
Quick boost, leg shock, yay!
Okay, side note, I'm in a match right now with a white dingo ace that's actually using the beam spray gun. I
What a
just
player.
felt like throwing it.
Nice. So
So bizarre.
what I was curious what the blur might have been the stagger, because when I was trying to test it out just to see what it could have been improved on, I was like, maybe,
Right.
I was like, oh wow, you can actually stagger pretty quickly with the finger Vulcans that I never use. Oops.
Yeah, they got a good
I get a
threshold
lot of
on 'em.
mileage out of the finger Vulcans.
But
Um,
they got some decent damage now too. The level 4 actually has 155 damage. It went up by 23. The level 3 went up by 19 for 145, and the level 2 went up to 130 for plus 10 on that one. So,
hmm.
and then its recoil was reduced. Cool.
Hey.
Blur down.
And then the heat rod, 250 damage at base, which that's pretty nice. There's a lot of times when I'm like, maybe I can heat rod and get the kill. I'll be like,
And
just
it's just
leave
not
him at
enough.
like nothing, and I'm like,
It's
well,
a
I gotta
tickle.
do 2 damage to him to finish him. So maybe
Finger
that,
Vulcans.
yeah, there you go. Maybe this will be the thing that actually ups that to where it feels good. And they extended the
Well,
radar failure
downtime.
time. So that's
Well,
actually
I think if they want to make the goofs better, replace every instance of, 5-barrel, finger Vulcan. What else has finger in its name? Godfinger. So let's just go ahead and just change it to, a God finger or shining finger instead. They can literally like cut off save some space on text, add one word. Doesn't just type in shining real quick.
That should be its counter. And it's just an instant kill where it just grabs you,
oh
digs
my
its gun
gosh.
finger into your shit and just fires.
Taka.
Just
Like,
blows out the
Gustav, are
pilot
you
like
are you
surprise.
actively enforcing the goof to finger bang
Yes, I
enemy level
am not
6 to
only
death?
finger banging, but also crimes. Because you'd be
Oh
finger
man.
banging the pilot
Oh
Oof.
in order
god.
to finish them off.
Oh my.
So the custom also got a similar buff. The unit performance is only for the level 4, so this is 500 because it needs more than this, I think, to be honest, but I'll take what I can get because I like my 500 cost. Will this change make me use it? Probably not.
Totally not gonna be running the level 4 in an ace match right now.
Um, but I probably still get my GAN memes on before I use the GUF custom. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll try it probably just to see if
I
this
mean, that's the
feels
thing
better.
too, right? Like at 400, there's so many other like choices that you can take. And even in this lobby right now, like the support's like, that's a shame. It's like, yeah, sure it is.
The goof custom can be fun though.
It's funny that the guy that's doing it's also called Clown. Like, yeah.
But yeah, the HP
But
went up by 250. Woo.
Mhm.
Thrusters up by 5 for 65. quick boost level 3, and leg shock absorber level 3.
Woo! Quick boost, leg shock.
And then
I can kind of see what they're thinking. I guess is like we got to make it easier for our raid friends to hop on top of buildings and get those sneaky setup supports or whatever. I guess when they shoot you in the legs as you're flying up to them and you go falling downwards, at least you have leg shock to help you out a little bit, I guess, or whatever.
Yep.
yeah,
Maybe when
It's
you point
definitely
to
not
your
something you think about at all.
pretty much.
But when it works, it works.
What was interesting is when I read this, I thought when it was saying 3-barrel Gatling, I was like, okay, yeah, shield Gatling, got it. So I think I
nope, sad
misspoke.
face.
I think I misspoke on the
That was on the video.
on the update video that I did. But this is it's talking about the
It's the
hand,
sidearm.
or like the thing on the yeah. So, but still, this is kind of a cool improvement. I actually went in and checked it just to see how much damage it felt like it did now for like the level 4, and I was hitting some good numbers. I was like, wow, this is actually pretty nice. So you
It's
can,
nice that they went in with it at all. Like,
yeah.
I'll
It's
take that.
good too.
So you got 180 range, which is about the range. Most side stuff is 200. So I mean, it's, you're going to be getting in there though. So as a raid, it's pretty nice. The so reduced blur again, which again this felt like the other one, so I didn't even notice it at all. And just the flat damage increase, you're doing about 200 a shot, I think, to general at level 4, so something like that.
Bio was telling me too that 3-barrel stuns faster than the shield Vulcan does.
Yeah, that's where I
Or shield
realized
Gatling,
this.
so I didn't even realize that either. So that's pretty neat. But it's a nice change because I mean you can definitely pepper down on people just alternating between the machine gun and the side barrel, so it's
Mhm.
not bad at all. Or a Gatling, I should say.
So the next two, we did the Goof combo. Now we're going into the Zagat combo. I don't know if you guys heard that. That was my dog in the background.
No.
I think I heard it faintly.
He's probably gonna want out here in a second. But so they up the damage for the modifier depending on what swing you do.
Right.
So I don't
Yeah.
know.
So usually like swings, it's like 100% or something like it. It could vary. For a neutral, side swings are usually like something around the lines of like I don't know 70 or 70 65% or something like that. I'm just like throwing
Yeah.
random numbers out there, and down swings are usually like 120%, just to like give you an idea of how the swing modifiers usually work. So it probably just reduced the fall off on those attacks.
I was gonna say the neutral on it was already pretty high though, and same with its downswing. So having the left and
That thing
right throw.
claps, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I was
it
gonna
already
say,
hits really hard.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That it is probably gross now to get hit with its downswing. For both it and the Zagaki got the same treatment on that. Then the missiles for the Zagak, the head 6 tube missiles, reduced reload time, increased speed, which that's always awesome for missile weapons. And they added ASL to it. So, remember Maniac was talking about they were saying that they were going to try to add ASL to just about everything at some point.
Yeah, they did mention it in one of the notes.
So that's pretty cool. Like the first one we had was
I think it's a good change.
What was the first suit they got ASL? Well, I can't remember. But yeah, pretty cool. And then disabled the blur, so there is no recoil.
None at
I
all.
never even noticed recoil whenever I played it, so that's interesting to say the least.
Oh,
feel like a
while
lot of
moving
those
and
you legit-
jumping.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this one only had it while moving and jumping. So maybe you have it
I
while
only ever
standing
used it while
still.
boosting. I only really ever used it when boosting, but I never really noticed, man. I don't know.
I
These
feel
little
like you
blur
legit have to
things are
be
strange.
standing still and just letting the cursor just move on its own in order to even notice it
Probably,
on any weapon.
unless you're doing the cold district.
Yeah.
Man, that thing is so fast. Like there for a while when I first got into the game. Like when I would hear a Cold Districts like fire at me, or just near
Like
me, and I knew it wasn't on my team. I was like, oh no, just
uncomfortable
because.
Magnum noises.
Yeah, pretty much. Um, but then the Zagok E, they actually increased its health, which is pretty interesting, up to 16,000 from 14,500.
The
Uh,
Zagaki got the royal treatment, man.
yeah, the Zagok E kind of looks scary. Its anti-melee got moved up to 26, so plus 10 on that. And maneuver armor level 2. That is scary.
So you can still get dunked on by shotguns. Woo!
I mean, at least you're at 450 cost, right? Or is that
Yeah, where shotguns live. It's base 400. As soon
base
as you touch
400? Okay, fair
450,
enough.
you're getting camfered on. And
I was gonna say yeah, there is that. So you do have to look out for that one. But it also
oh
got the
no,
same
I'm not.
treatment.
It's gonna be hard regardless. That's like saying a card's bad in Magic because it dies of removal. You know, like I'm more just pointing out the sad face thing. I've still gotten dunked on by shotguns with the Gian with its level 2 maneuver armor. So hopefully it'll be notably relevant or something.
Any other 400 cost suits though have level 2 maneuver? Actually, a
I don't think so.
good point.
Gian?
Here, I got it up. I can check real quick.
I think Gian might be it.
Mia was just asking, so it's actually a good point though. That could be a big deal.
Because like I want to say the Gian was one of the first suits to get level 2 maneuver armor, and they don't really dish that out very often.
But yeah, what's the next thing after the? Because they got the same thing for its vice now. So what's the beam cannon? What do they do with it? They must have made
They
that off.
reduced the heat usage. So it used to be 40 per shot, now it's 30, which is pretty neat. Usually takes about a 3-shot barrage to stagger, so you can actually stagger somebody if you hit full 3 shots and not overheat your gun, which gives you really good options, afterwards, or just an extra shot to hit with if you say miss one in your barrage. Although usually if you're on top of somebody, those things fire fast. Um, you're probably in there, but it's pretty neat. Like by the time after the confirm, once you're done like getting in on them, you probably have a good amount of shots up and ready to go for your next victim, at the very least.
And also, there is nothing at 400 unless I'm missing a suit that has maneuver armor. Unless
Gian has it.
The Gan has it. Okay, I am missing the Gan.
Mm.
I was gonna say, what about the Marine? I don't know if I have the Goguk Marine either.
I don't believe it does. Like I'm pretty sure it's just the Gian and now the Zogaki for 400 cost.
That's pretty nice. Level 2 maneuver armor is pretty legit. Like they upped that on the G line assault, and I could definitely feel it as a support player. Namely, as a. Oh wait, no, that's right. It has the offense system. That's what they added to it, right? Okay. So yeah, the G line. I thought the G line assault had it, but never mind. G line assault does not.
Yeah, it doesn't have like poise control or something. So
Yeah, it has the offense system and one other thing. Explosive. Is that explosive reactive?
explosive reactive armor.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? I always thought for some reason I'm thinking like you're talking about the thing where you can't stagger out of melee or whatever, right?
That's the offense system from the stagger out of
I
melee.
always thought it was called poise control. Like, what is it?
I think that's what it translates to in notes, but it's offense system.
Okay.
Yeah, it just has the combo of that. So while it's meleeing, it's actually kind of hard to missile, like with the Dom Barrage. Okay, cool. But yeah, what was that again? You said 2 beams is what it takes now probably, and it used to take 3.
Oh no, nothing's changed in regards to
okay.
like how it staggers. It just uses less heat.
Oh,
They
okay.
reduced the consumption by 10, so
You probably
now
get
you
another
can
shot
fire.
out.
You can get another shot out, or just still have your beam gun available after a stagger, so you can have it recharging while you're, as I put earlier, getting in on them.
And then you got the reduced recovery time. That's nice, and the hitbox, which is always nice for those beams.
Hmm.
I kept talking about the Gogu cannon every time they were like hitbox. I'm like, Gogu cannon feels nice now. I definitely love playing the Gogu cannon after that change.
Yeah, raising hitbox definitely helps and stuff. It's always nice.
So, and then they added ASL to the torpedo tubes.
Yeah, disable blur when using weapons while moving.
But yeah, I know a couple of people who will be happy with the Zagaki change though. I know
Oh
some
yeah,
people who
so
pretty much
that's
main that suit anyway.
that's stagger on
Claw
2
boys.
hits. Damn.
Stagger on 2 hits for what?
I think it was for the beam for a second, but I
Was
had
it
to do
2?
it
I thought it was
again.
3.
I think it might be 3. For a second, it looked like 2, and I was like, I just didn't see the second shot come out. 1, 2.
It fires fast.
Yeah, it's 3. It's 3 for sure.
But I think it'd be good. Like those suits have always, like, I felt have been in a pretty good spot. You just can't go ham like you can with some of the other safer suits.
Yeah.
With them. Although honestly, the
It's
Zagaki
weird
is
because
a solid package.
they kind of require you to go ham. You got to get in there for the claws. But now it's just a lot
you
more
just can't
solid.
solo it. Like
Yeah,
I
you
think you
can't, like-
definitely need a little bit of support.
Can't like
play like a
BD2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to
Unless
walk
you're-
in on a fight already. Be like, well. Guess you weren't counting on the crab coming through today.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, I can sink my claws into some of these guys that are distracted.
Yep.
Although maybe maybe I just played too safe. I'm sure there'll be people watching. It's like I solo entire teams with the suit or whatever.
Yep.
But you know,
I chew up entire Gundams in my claws.
yeah, I'm no new type, I guess.
Regular basis. Real talk, I wish that it could actually gut a GM. There's a guy.
Oh my gosh.
That's. I almost kind of want melee finishers, like you know how they actually like get cut in half and stuff like that sometimes.
For
I want that,
counterattacks.
but like for more like when you get the final hit on sometimes with melee, and they just kind of like blam, they fold in half or whatever.
It'd
I
be
kind of
cool
want
if
that,
they,
but like extra little things like that.
be cool like if
I
you
better have five
definitely
friends.
finished the if you
Yeah, for
definitely
sure.
finish them with the counter,
Mm.
then like you do a different finisher, like, or you do like a different counter, like kind of what you were saying there though. Or like
when
the
the Zaku type, the high mobility Zaku type S or whatever, when it counters the Gundam in space, it shark kicks it or
Gives it the boot, yeah.
something like that, right?
That'd be cool too.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that suit in general should just have the boot for the counter.
But and then we got another buff for just the higher levels of the Zuda.
The Zuda.
So this is more
The high
quality
level
of
Zuda's
life.
already been pretty spoiled, so that's kind of nice.
Yep, the PETA.
What is that translation? How in the world? Oh man.
Everybody running around as Zoot as a I'm about to say a camoof bear. Is a pedo bear.
Oh gosh.
Oh no, FBI, open up.
So I heard you take a seat right there, sir.
But yeah, the level 3 got 500 HP.
Holy
Level 4 then got all of these changes. 1000 HP, so now it's at 15,000. Sorry, I didn't say the other one. 13,500. Unit speed is up to 110 for the level 4. Thrust is up to 75. And the quick boost got put level 3. So probably not what a lot of people were hoping for, but
Overboost.
yeah, like I could
Give overboost to Zagak while you're at it.
Give every raid overboost. Let's just be real.
Real talk, I mean, yeah. Or at least give them some sort of mode where they scoot around a lot, even if it's not just overboost.
give them like
Supports don't need dodge rolls, they need overboost.
instantly,
Hey,
like all
more
raids
scoot.
have 30 more thruster.
Yeah. Gotta be fast.
Yes,
Could you
please.
imagine a
Yes,
prototype
please.
actually, like a prototype Gundam being that fast? Just zipping at people?
Oh gosh. No.
The
Please
mad
no.
Like,
train.
it's already aggressive enough.
It's tanky enough, man. Like, it already has a ton of health. That's the thing.
Trans Am.
But
Yeah, I can appreciate it. I kind of wish that they would give some stuff to the lower Zuda's shits, but I think they're trying to play it safe with that.
Well, I think those suits are struggling most probably in high cost. As they
Oh,
raise
yeah.
the
Yeah.
bar, it gets harder for those old suits, so I get it.
Especially
I
when
actually,
they had to spoil the F so that they're not going to leave the other one in large.
well, I mean, I know some people were saying like they would like the Zuda at lower cost to be improved as well, and I'm like, I don't know. I feel like there's some games that I have where like there's a 250 Zuda and they just tear through people. Like, not even just me being a support. Like, they're actually doing work against generals with
The
an
suit is pretty
anti-ship.
good. Yeah, like it's always kind of been pretty powerful. It's got really good tools, multiple stun options. Like for a raid, like I always felt like the level one's probably in a good spot.
Maybe the level 2 might have needed a little love though, but definitely nice to see the level 3 and 4 getting something. Because again, like, pretty much as you get higher and new suits come out,
Hmm.
stuff kind of gets
Yeah,
left behind.
especially if 4 is going to have a hard time, so.
But then the last raid, the
Here,
G3.
let me. Can I introduce this one? The buff to
Oh,
the
no.
G3 was they made it a general.
It's
The switch,
true.
the switch types made it a general. They didn't know what they were thinking when they first released the suit. They're like, "Oops, we put the wrong color on there." Hate to see it happen. I
It was
can't believe
supposed
we
to
never
just.
noticed. No, sorry. Go ahead.
It's like
But
they just wanted it to be a better Gundam. Well,
I've
it
just
has to
been
be different
saying that
somehow.
it
Let's just make it a red.
I I mean, I've been saying like it needs a buff because it just feels pretty bad like just wrecking one of these. Like, when I saw it in ranked, I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you picked that suit." Um, here, let me kill you as a mud rock. Goodbye.
I don't
But
know.
yeah,
G3 feels really vanilla. Is all.
yeah. I mean, it got maneuver armor level 2, so that's kind of cool from level 1. So that is nice. And then the beam rifle change, kind of interesting. Like, maybe not the thing I would buff to make it a bit better, but I mean, like I said, I think it needs whatever it can get. So sure. So the
It's a good
power,
Definitely
start.
helps though.
damage, yeah. So he's got,
Pistol's a good. The beam rifle's a good follow up weapon.
yeah.
Because you can definitely play it kind of like a cannon support where you just double rocket stagger and the beam rifle follow up. So it's not
I
it's not
mean,
bad
it's
at all.
definitely a good defensive, like, probably I would say more of a skill cap suit just because of its the way you kind of have to play it.
I also just kind of want them to give it the dual sabers at this point. Like
They should
Yeah,
give it the hyper hammer.
that, I
or
want
that,
that's
or that, yeah, either or, both, all three.
any Gundam type should be able to fuck with those, but like the hyper hammer on this would be hilarious. I want that.
Like I honestly think they gave it the hyper hammer. It would honestly just like they could have changed nothing, just given it the hyper hammer, and I think it would have helped out some. Because I
I feel
mean,
like giving it the hyper hammer is a little. It's more of a meme kind of thing. Like,
I don't know.
because you still have to
Raids
stand
are pretty
still and
good at
like
stuff like that.
nail it with that, but like I still want it to be possible. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, but could you imagine clapping a support with the G3 for hyper hammer with like damage advantage, man?
That'd
I
be
mean, I
pretty
can
cool.
also imagine getting outmaneuvered by several generals on the intercept,
That's
and
okay
you
though.
having to
You're a
stand
raid.
still and getting nailed with this. So like,
You just side swing and you put them all to a knee and you laugh while running away. Like literally the best.
like goodbye.
But I think the hyper hammer on a G3 would be awesome.
It's something that needs to be done.
Yeah,
The fact that it hasn't been done already is kind of ridiculous.
please make that happen.
Also,
Shit,
I've
give
got
it the
Karen.
javelin while you're at it.
Okay, so I've got Karen in chat that would like to speak to your manager about you calling the hyper hammer a meme
It
as a lifestyle.
it is. It's meme life. I'd love for it to be something that you could just see regularly and like rated or ranked, but like it's not.
It's
I
definitely
can't
one of
say
those
it with
like
a straight face.
it's definitely one of those like hard hitting power weapons that I think like a raid would be able to use to
It
pretty good
seems very
advantage.
raidy. And like if it could actually use it faster than like the regular Gundam, even that would be nice.
I mean, just
So,
looking at it like with the hammer gun, the Gashi is a freaking raid slayer
oh my
with its
Oh
gosh,
hammer
yeah.
gun,
yeah, it is.
and just like
It's
imagining
also got some
something like that.
alarming range on that too. Like that's crazy.
Hmm,
Or that shit can reach.
Yeah, you can do that. Then you
yeah.
can missile and then claw them to death. Kind of gross.
Everything that Gacha has just kind of makes me mad because it's just like, oh, those missiles actually have some good potency to them. Oh, those claws are actually scary. So it's not just worrying about the hammer or the missiles. Like
And I
for as
wonder,
goofy and designer suit as that is, it has a lot going for it.
feel like Zagok players and stuff are like, hey,
Give me that.
they're looking at the gotcha and being like, why can't our missiles, please? But I wonder if this ASL will help out with that.
I think it will. Anything that
Um,
makes it easier to hit your shots will help out.
Mhm.
yeah,
Just don't go throwing on your ASL parts. It's not that relevant.
yeah, that's the one thing. Like, either they need to super buff the ASL parts or just get rid of them. Like,
I think the only
especially
thing
the
I
level
use my
two.
hands are for the Zaku one sniper when I'm doing the long barrel. But that's because it's just me being goofy.
Like, I want to measure it. Like, take a screenshot on screen and measure exactly how much it actually increases it. Like, if at all, because I can't tell. Like, I've thought about doing that for space with the barrage. I'm like,
Mhm.
maybe I might be able to justify it on the Dom barrage because I mean, like, its ASL is like the size, just a little bit bigger than the cursor itself or the crosshair
Yeah,
itself,
it's
whatever.
not very big.
Is the ASL part a additive bonus or is it a percentage bonus? Like, do you get if you get what I mean?
It's
Uh,
points, not percent. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's probably a little more
I'd
relevant
have
then.
to I'd have to double check. I could look at it real quick
I
after I
never use
get
those
out of
things,
here.
so I wasn't 100% sure, but I think it's
I
a
think it's by points,
point
like plus
change.
whatever.
yeah, I
Which
tried
is
it
stupid
early
because again,
on.
that's another stat that you don't get to like see on the weapon itself.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's points.
So here's another thing: the increased stray accumulation value during normal shooting.
Mm.
What?
Um, yeah, I think that's uh
That's
stagger
stagger?
build up. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure it's
so
stagger build up.
Okay,
so
that's
on
the
like
only thing that
consumer
made any sense is stagger accumulation. So
it's interesting that they do it for focus shooting too. So like, because you'd still stagger after a
Well,
charge
maneuver armor
shot.
is
maneuver armor
relevant
though.
there
Oh,
though.
for maneuver armor. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense then.
So and the
That could
heat
also be
range.
a thing where
Hit it
it
through shield.
builds up on armor units like the goof, for example.
Mm.
Because you want to think about it like this: maybe an insta stagger is still stagger accumulation rate 0, but the game reads it as like confirm stagger, and then it checks for resistances or whatever. It's like maybe in this case, if they're machine gunned a little bit and you punch them with insta stagger that has a 0% rate or whatever, however one wants to work, then the stagger would add on to whatever potential accumulated stagger they have and actually punch through it instead or something.
So
Right.
here's something that's also not in the English translated notes. The heat rate for focus fire has not changed, is in the Japanese, but not on the English notes.
Hmm.
So your heat rate for focus firing, I'm assuming it hasn't changed. And
Right.
then
That
just the
I would just say is like whatever it costs to do a charge shot is the same as it has been.
yeah. So I mean, like I said, they just didn't put it in the English translation notes at all.
Mhm.
So that's weird. But that's why I was like, when I saw the Rick Dom, I was like, wait, is it actually the Rick Dom or Rick Dom 2? That's why I had to check the previous notes that they talked about. But yeah, I was just looking at that. I was like, what in the world?
Hashtag get a G3 hyper hammer.
Pretty much. But
If anything,
That's
just
the end of the
even
note.
make its animations different. Like that'd be.
yeah.
That'd be nice too.
Any other final thoughts about those notes?
No, I mean I'm just glad that they're doing a lot of adjustments to older suits. Like I can dig that. It's also just nice to have them be somewhere like comprehensive.
Yeah, that's true.
Patch notes are always nice.
So when did they normally? Because I know I when I was mentioning it to you, Emblem, you actually know the like period at which they normally put in big notes like this?
I don't know. Like, I wish I could say, but like, I feel like developer letters kind of just come whenever they want.
Yeah,
They're
that's
like, if I looked back, there might be some kind of like form or function to it. I know they generally do big updates once a month, but like for actual like big suit changes like this, um, the only like really big rollover that I could think of is when they first did a lot of those changes around the time exams got adjusted, and they like changed all those other suits right before that one ranked match.
yeah.
Mm.
That's like the last time I could think of like a large mobile suit adjustment overhaul.
It seems to
Um,
happen after a ranked or a actual tournament.
yeah,
That's pretty much what I've been going on.
which guys we're talking about different from like the little incremental like one or two shot changes. By the way, like they do it like almost like every week for like minor changes. Every week, every other week, but big stuff is kind of few and far between, from my knowledge.
Yeah, normally there's at least one change a week, which was kind of awkward that there wasn't anything. I'm guessing because they just were going to roll it all out in this. There wasn't anything
Mm.
last week, so. But
Just to kind of lead in before we lead into the last topic, which you have as shout outs, did we have any kind of viewer posted topics, anything on your end, Magnum or Gustav for that matter?
Not quite.
no, I didn't get any request for a topic.
I had one come up earlier. I told him we would we could talk about it later. Or I tell people to go to your channel to use your request option, but Suicide Zaku had asked what our thoughts were on the game getting to double Zeta or later.
I mean, we've already got
Hmm.
Seuss from it, right?
Yeah, the Dewage is in the game. We're there.
Yeah. But hmm.
Never say never, but wait for the official soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still honestly think Zeta gun or double Zeta, like being optimistic, maybe during the end of the life cycle of Battle Op 2, but I'm thinking Battle Op 3. And
Yeah.
then, obviously that's after we go through like the entire 1 year war in Zeta Gundam again in Battle Operation 3.
I kind of hope not, but that's probably what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
It all
I'm okay
depends,
with
right?
being
Like
wrong.
if they go full hog and like get another engine again,
Oh
maybe
gosh.
they would. I kind of don't think they'll do that though. Like I feel like unless they
Mm.
really have some qualms with this one, they might stick with it.
I mean, if they keep pushing on with it, that would be kind of cool. And then again, with how this one's kind of played out, how many people are getting into it with the Western release, I wonder if they're just going to keep pushing on and adding for a while.
Possibly. Um and maybe like they pull a PoE and Battle Operation 3 is just stapled on to Battle Operation 2, right?
I
That'd be
really
cool.
hope that just becomes a
I wouldn't
standard
mind that.
that a
I
lot of
would be down
people
for
do,
that.
because with PoE like kind of setting a like they're
Because
they're
this
almost
is
setting a good precedent, and where they're actually now a big company now,
mm,
um, but they still have that we are making a good game and we're trying to make something we want to make. So they haven't gotten to the point of technically they have a corporate overlord, but they haven't done anything to really like force them to do anything yet.
Hmm.
Cross our fingers, knock on wood. Um, but yeah, like if they did do that, then that would be really cool. And they just like this is our renamed release. I know another game that was actually an ARPG that kind of did that. They had a technical release every year. Was um, Marvel Heroes, where they would be like Marvel Heroes 2014, 2015, blah blah blah, Omega or whatever the
right.
yeah. So
We'll have to see. That would be preferable, just because that's depending on how much we whale into the future. That's a lot of money to leave behind too. When you talk about like different iterations and stuff.
And that's kind of why I was mentioning the Western release too. A lot of people really don't like Welling, and then the game's like, okay, we're moving on.
They don't like it, but they do it a lot.
And then a lot of
And a
people
lot.
still do it though, yeah. So that's the thing. So I'm wondering though if, because normally on the Western side of things, there's more backlash to that kind of thing. So
Yeah, like your seasonal sports games and some of your FPSs are a lot like that.
but here's another thing to quickly go over. What other suit do we think we're gonna get next week?
Barbatos.
Get the Wayne Gundam. It's a little tough now. Like we've been calling Marsa as the safe bet this whole time, and it's just not happening. Like, I don't know if I can even call that one at this point.
Yeah, I'm still gonna stick to the Gaza Sea.
Yeah, that's another nice one. That or the
That'd be
Ashimar.
space only. Probably not. I take that back. That would be space only. Probably, maybe.
I feel like not another space
Methods.
only is like not another sword character in Smash. Like that's just kind of our thing.
You don't like Teacher Marth?
Teacher Marth looks fun though.
Oh gosh.
Transforming weapon.
I think I'm gonna go with my safe bet, and because I will be right one day, I hope, and go with the Marasai.
It's guns in the game, for fuck's sake. Just
Yeah,
give
yeah.
it to me.
I mean, yeah,
Make it
it's
red,
been about
whatever
a
you gotta
month,
do.
but
Methods.
Meths.
Method seems like another safe bet.
I don't know. We just
the
got
bigger
a new
thing,
suit,
like, and I bring it up every time, but it's just like in terms of scaling, like we're still in 550.
though.
And
Zeta's gonna be
we
there for
technically have
600,
up
like,
to
guaranteed.
700. So like figuring out what's going to be baseline 700 or like what 600 is going to bring, like Zeta for sure, I can see that.
Yeah.
Just because once we get to 600, we're going to be running thin on like units that are going to be new. If we're talking about Zeta, and Zeta by itself is like the show kind of stuff.
I kind of wish we'd start going into the cost a little bit more. Because everybody's got this mindset like, well, the cap's 700. Like, it's a video game; they can increase the cap as much as they want.
Mhm.
Like. I kind of like,
But
because
that's
I
the
feel
thing;
like,
they're so slow about it, though. Like,
right, and I think it's causing a problem for the game too, because like they're kind of like, it's almost like they're trying to like funnel all these new suits into like, because they've got like 1 Year War, post Zeta is like across so much cost, and now they're like doing these other things, and it's like, well, can't go past 550,
Mhm.
like, I don't know. I think it would have helped out the game a little bit more if they like raised the cost of the suits and like expanded into 700. Like, go in and open up those costs. Like Zeta, maybe Zeta Gundam's is a 700 suit, and like everything else kind of like spreads between
Yeah.
everything
Like, if
else,
it's
just
really
to kind
gonna
of
be their,
diversify it.
like if it's really gonna be their end game, if they're really not gonna go into double Zeta, then I would assume the Zeta would be at the ass end of their cost range.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like
So
again, just push it up when you get more suits. Like, cost is, I don't know. They
Because
can
we're
just do
not
whatever
doing
with it.
cost crunch. Unless they really go that direction, it's probably just gonna be cost flux.
yeah, that would be the only thing I could see.
Especially with them taking out the little like smaller incremental little numbers, like out of like the 15s and stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think they need to be a little more liberal with going into the higher cost range with their suits, just so we don't have these situations where, like, I don't know, uh Zeta comes out and then like they push these pre-existing 550s level 2, and Zeta's like, Zeta's like
Going toe to toe with
at the power,
uniforms.
yeah, like at the power level of, what Zeta Gundam is, because like, at 600, I think it should be notably different than a 550 suit, especially since there's no 600 suits in the game, and you
Mhm.
like push these new suits in, which Battle Operation really doesn't believe in incremental like level scaling for skills. So like they're pretty much going to come in just flatline with increased stats. And I mean, I feel like, specs or whatever, I guess, are a thing. But I just feel like the 600 suits should be notably higher in performance compared to the 550s
Yeah.
because they're higher cost or whatever. So I don't know. It's just interesting.
It's gonna be harder with some of the Zeta suits too, because a lot of them are following the same form factor of like primarily beam weapon as as their main gun, and then going into
Mm.
like maybe some unique melee, but normally not.
They just have a lot of good options, though. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
that's gonna be the fun one. Also, I hope they kind of do something with the bio computer or whatever the hell, just so
Biosensor?
that
Yeah, I
yeah,
think we'll
so
see
that
it.
it
I wonder
actually
what it is.
has
Yeah.
I just
so it
hope it's
actually
not.
has
You
its
could
own
detect
exam mode.
pilots in their mobile suits.
Yeah,
Could
it's
you
gonna be
imagine?
like some weird exam bullshit. I can already like if they actually do
Probably.
touch on it.
Yeah.
You can detect the emotions of your enemy pilots.
They all
Um,
have like their own little narrative and shit.
They're all just red because everybody's pissed in the game.
Oh no.
I wonder if, you mentioned the cost thing though too. One suit that I kind of think, I mean, I know we've kind of mentioned this before, but like having the which I don't think it is as crazy at 400 cost, but the Pell Rider Cavalry, it is that's a crazy suit at 350.
For sure. It's
Like,
It
disgusting.
changed a lot at that cost.
yeah,
Mhm.
like that was definitely a big deal when that came out. So, like, I could see that even just being 400 and 450 instead of it being dropped down. And I just wonder though if their kind of way of either, at the same time getting rid of this like big difference from like 100 cost suits, even like that, is in rated you can only go 50 down. Like, I wonder
Mhm.
if that's kind of one of their sort of fixes in a sense. Because there was a lot of people already doing like 450s and 550s, and it was like, well, these 550 suits are crazy now. And it's like now they're, but again, like it's weird because now it's kind of like, well, get the suits or don't play that cost.
Put it
So
this way, like 550 doesn't even have a free practice range yet.
yeah, pretty
So
much.
like that cost range is so scant that they're not even like filling out maps with the suits you would typically see at that range. They're still at 500. So they've been kind of dragging their feet in terms of just bumping it up, and we'll have to just hope that they do it soon.
I
Mm.
mean, I'm
Because I'm
guessing.
wondering, like, what kind of event would they wait for to even do it at, if that's how they're gonna do it?
I mean, I think what they've kind of already done though is their other way of fixing it. Like I mean, with this patch, the Unit 4 and the Unit 5. I think they're just
Mm.
going to start coming out with 2 new level of suit, or at least 1 new level every patch now. Just having a second banner pretty much every patch. I'm actually kind of. I know when they were doing the Zeta stuff, they didn't exactly have a second one, which because there was normally a step up going on. But
Mhm.
I'm curious to see if literally the rest of like this month and even next month, if we see a secondary banner every week. And
Yeah, I feel like we have a big enough roster to do it. Like, it just seems like something that'd be worth looking into.
by the way, though, just as a side note on some of these suits, once they get to level 4, your enhancement bonuses get increased. So get that level 2 complex expansion slot thing. So you
I don't
get.
think that's a guarantee on every suit, though. Like, I mean, I haven't checked, but I don't
I
think
mean,
that's necessarily always the case.
that I wanted to say that that wasn't the case, but then when we were going over it, like one of these podcasts, I checked every one of my suits. I was like, oh, I think there's one. I'm pretty sure there's one, and I could have swore I caught it on stream too. But
Mhm.
so I could be just crazy. But
I
I'm just
mean,
looking at a level
that'd be
3.
interesting. I can't say I've ever looked, but I thought it was just like if that's the case, that's neat. I never really like
But
noticed or paid too much attention to that. Does like Grandpa Gundam at level 4? There's a level 4 Grandpa Gundam, right?
Yep.
I don't have it,
Does
but I'm
level
pretty
2?
sure it has level 2 complex. Yeah.
Let me go look.
That's interesting.
Every level 4 I have has level 2 complex, which was the weird thing because I thought there was one that I had that didn't have it, but
Mhm.
and I'm just going through them again just to see. So far, it holds. Like even on the Power GM and some of the new level 4s that they just put in.
Enhancement
Oh, here we
list.
go. Okay, so there is a couple that it doesn't actually
Yeah,
hit level
and the level
2.
4, it actually is complex expansion slot level 1
Wait, which one?
for the level 4 Gundam.
Oh, for the level 4 Gundam. Okay, so the Gundam's the only one that. So there are a couple of skills or a couple of enhancements that don't hit it. Here's another example: the Ifrit. I thought it was the Ifrit, but I think when we were going over it, I was just looking at the complex expansion.
Mhm.
What I was actually saw on stream was the anti-ballistic armor enhancement level 1.
Yeah,
So
but
it doesn't
everything
get
else is
increased.
level 2.
So there are a couple of exceptions. But for the most, and so the Grandpa Gundam doesn't have level 2 expansion? That's weird.
They should probably change that, to be honest, but yeah, it doesn't. All level 1.
Yeah, every other one so far.
And the
So
expansion slot's at the end still, so it's like 2,220 just to even get there.
Get to work. Get them tickets out, son.
I haven't put that shit in there at all. No way.
but yeah, every other level 4 I've checked so far has +2. So I was
So
thinking
it's
the
splitting
Free
out.
Kai and the BD1 level 4 probably has it.
That'd be interesting. I can see them not doing it because they have exams. But that'd be interesting. It definitely would be nice. Like
I wonder
2
if that
extra
info,
slots is super relevant.
is on the JP wiki.
It could be. Or it probably is. They update fast.
So yeah, that'd be kind of cool to know. But if they do, then oh, hang on.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was reading chat. I thought somebody might have put something for that.
Hmm.
But
Gustav,
Hmm.
I think you mentioned earlier about how they would handle the transition to 600. I think like I was just gonna while man was doing chat stuff, I was just gonna say like I could definitely see them doing a dual banner with Zeta, maybe like the O or something, and then they just
Yeah.
have like a big secondary banner, like that stupid flop banner when they introduced 550.
Oh my god. You
Like
know they're gonna
that.
do it again.
Well, yeah, but as a supplementary banner, it's perfectly fine because
Yeah.
no one would care. But like, it's not going to be the main banner this time around, so it'll be infinitely better. Everyone's gonna be rolling
Mhm.
on Zeta, gonna be like, oh yeah, there's a stupid supplementary banner that they.
I feel like we have a bigger pool of suits that we can bump up now though, and that
I
they're
agree. They should definitely have a lot
so
in there.
like I feel like that secondary banner will actually be pretty good
I can't
this
wait to get
time.
my
The
level
first one
3
was just
Zommel.
stupid.
Yeah, it's because it was standalone and it was
Mhm.
just dumb. And the suit selection was kind of garbo.
You
Oh,
know they are
Grandpa
gonna make a
Gundam.
3. They're gonna make a level 3 Gundam, or I mean a
Heck
level 5 Gundam and a level 3 Zommel. You know they are.
yeah, Zommel
oh
G3,
yeah.
Gelgoog, Grandpa Gundam, like for sure.
Oh man.
I wouldn't mind a level 4 Alex as long as they fucking give it to me.
If they do that as a secondary banner this time rather than the actual banner where they did
That'd be good.
then fair enough, but where that week where it was the actual banner, that was awful.
That shit hurt. And it's funny because that came out. Was that before we were doing the podcast or after? Because we were talking about the idea of them doing throwback suits or like throwback banners. It's like that's not quite how
Yeah.
I wanted that to go.
Yeah, definitely as a standalone. I think the current format of them doing it as like new levels is fine.
Mhm.
Throwback could be interesting. That would be bad. Gotcha games kind
Do
of
that a lot.
revisit old suits a lot. Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of what was going on in chat as far as like talking about whether they'll go into double Zeta and stuff too. Um, like they do have a lot to pull from like double Zeta and the like if you want to even go further than that, the timeline. So like I
Well,
mean
yeah.
they
There's a
could
bunch of
keep
bubble suits in the future for sure.
they could keep pushing, which would be pretty interesting.
It's
But
not impossible.
I mean my point though too is if like if it was going to be too much money to start redesigning things, then yeah, they could probably stick with this game and just keep adding stuff in. But if they felt like they wanted to change a couple of things, or I mean, the limitations with maps maybe, or they wanted to make water maps, if they couldn't do that in this engine, they might have to just start a new engine for that kind of thing.
Well, they could honestly like do Battle Operation 3 as a brand new game and they use the same engine and maybe just make changes. Because I mean,
Yeah,
there's a difference between like a air quote fresh new game and Battle Operation, which has been around for a while. Because I mean, if they like release Battle Operation 3, that'll attract players who maybe were salty about Battle Operation 2 or play Battle Op 1 and skip 2 or just something. Like just releasing a new game is going to
yeah.
attract new people or
Eh,
or re-attract old people or stuff like that. So I mean there's like some reason for them to not, instead of just expanding Battle Op 2 forever and just
Mhm.
making a new game. And they've got suckers like us who will play
Or just put a
Battle Op.
3 sticker on it, it'll
and
be
see,
alright.
that's
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
thing too. I was gonna say, and then
I
there's
have to
the
do
people
all my
who
stuff.
will well a second time, or just
Mhm.
even
Yeah.
then, if they can also restart the welling, if I mean,
Yeah, it's
they are
like
a
Battle Op 3
business.
is just like a way to refresh. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
annual
mean,
games have proven that point, like, time and again. That's very tried and true.
yeah.
So
So why don't you just have Call of Duty just be an ever updating game instead of them having a new one like every year or something?
Then you
well,
don't
and then
give
the way it
copy
and the
sales
way it
on.
works now with, oh my gosh, the amount of microtransactions that you have to go along with the ticket of a new game,
And I'm pretty sure the mobile game
big oof.
borders on having, like, gacha-ish stuff too. Like, there's a lot of shit going on inside.
Actually, that's a good question too. Anybody, is the Battle Operation 1 game actually still live as far as the servers?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
He's dead.
I say he did.
So
Because people
that's
went from that to Next, and then Next was like, "Hey, I say he's gonna be dead soon. You better get over here.
Play Battle Op 2, son.
yeah.
Here's a cookie. Hope you didn't spend
I
too much."
still got Battle Op 1 on my PlayStation 3, but
Eh,
unfortunately, if you try to load into the game, it's just like no, and
like, what are
then
you doing,
it takes you
lol?
back up.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, well that
How'd
kind
you
of
get in here?
oh, that was a sad day for me when they shut down Chrome Hounds. Like,
Oh no.
and the funny thing is I walked into like GameStop and I was like, I looked at that and I was like, oh, that makes me sad. And someone was like, what? And I'm like, this game doesn't actually exist anymore. Funny though, that GameStop's trying to sell it for like $15.
Mhm. Did it
Like,
even have like a single
Gameplay is
campaign at all? Or
okay, it had a campaign that was really a tutorial.
right.
Like,
I
it's a
figured.
tutorial on how to get into the actual war and play against people. So you got to get some basic parts. So
Mhm.
you get the parts, but you never get to take them online now. And I don't think there's a custom mode where you could take the basic parts you got and actually play against like AI without being,
Oof.
yeah. So like you
Rip
could
that
just
game.
do the story mode. I mean, it was technically voiced, I guess, so that was cool. But
technically. Was it like voice to speech or something?
like, I mean, they were pretty. It was pretty
I
bad
will
voice
stop
acting.
you, Bob. Oh
Yeah,
no,
pretty much.
Oh no.
Steve, put the
Oh
gun
no.
down. Get out of your Chrome Hound, Philip.
All your mechs will die today.
All your mechs are belong to us.
Armored Core had some fun voice acting too.
So like, yeah,
Heavy accents, there's like weird shit going on.
but I know the server dying thing, that oof, yeah,
It
know that
hurts.
feel. That was one of the earliest times that it hit me, like, just like, oh my gosh, this is a thing that can happen. Oh no. Oh no.
Yep.
It's like the same fear that people have for like digital
Gustav, you cut off. Same thing they had for something.
libraries, like you're buying on Steam or like other platforms
Yep.
like that,
Yeah,
as
I
opposed
still
to
like
having
to
a
get
physical
hard
copy.
copies. What happens if the PSN gets like tanked and I lose all my video games?
Or also just like your licenses play off.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing too. You can get, I mean, a lot of that stuff though, luckily you can download and then get rid
Mm,
of the Steam part of it if you want. But
that's a different thing entirely.
and I think it
Yep.
might
So,
break some terms of service at some point. So
Oh god.
no way.
Just started advocating for shit like, oh, well, here come the cops.
But so anyway, yeah. So next week's suit, not a Zoc. Got it.
Absolutely.
Totally not.
But
Well, what?
yeah. Shout out.
Chicken butt.
Oh gosh, I haven't heard that in a while.
All right. I am EG Magnum. You can find me on my YouTube page, EG_Magnum. My goal on YouTube is to one day have it to when you search Magnum, I come up before the gun. Also have a Twitch page, twitch.tv/EG_Magnum.
Oh god.
You'll find all of this in the description underneath the video. We play video games. So right now I'm really into Monster Hunter Iceborne. It's really fun. I've been checking that out. Did I mention we finally got over it? And yeah, it's good. But I'm Gaming Emblem. Website.com/GamingEmblem. We have a unkept up YouTube, streams on the internet, and all that good jazz. It can be fun. Video games, mecha stuff, RPGs, internet. Feels good.
It's true.
Internet feels really good.
Well. Oh yeah, I bet. Thankfully, that's been holding up, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I dropped a couple of frames just a bit ago, but it's
I
still
did
like
too.
272. Yeah.
What a coincidence! We both have the same
Mm.
ISP too.
Is that true?
Illusion.
Like, do you guys
Yeah.
actually?
We do.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So we've both been having problems, and 2 other people that I know that have the same ISP have been having problems since the first.
Well, time to take some torches and pitchforks over there.
Yep.
And that's like
Me and
in
my-
I think either 3 or 4 different states too. So that's kind of
Yikes.
interesting. Yeah.
I'm gonna paint EG on my Magnum and go over to my. And we're both gonna go together to my.
The one time that WoW Cable actually outshines the provider. That's kind of surprising. Because usually we like to dog on these guys, but they've been alright. At least as of late. Knock on wood for that. But yep. Gustav the 13th, Gustav_X_I. That's where you can find me on most things, including Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch. Doing Gundam Battle Operation 2 dailies every day. And we're also getting through Yakuza 0 right now. So hopefully I'll see you guys around. We are also recruiting for Clan GS3. Clan matches are coming up this weekend. Hoping to get in there. So let me know if you're looking for a spot. And we'll make room if we actually do fill up.
But yeah, for real though, with the clan thing though, this weekend though, it's gonna be kind of rough with it being 550 space.
Yeah.
Good luck.
550 space, 6v6 resource satellite. Keep that in mind.
Yep. Now I like the map. That is definitely my map for the Zeong cheese. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, if you get in there,
it's
then
a
it's pretty
classic.
much guaranteed.
Actually, no. The N64 one was the classic. Sorry, my bad.
Wow.
But
Make sure you have 2 copies of Smash.
but oh man,
I don't know. He did a pretty good job on yours.
Yeah, I was gonna be like website.com /GamingEmblem.
Oh shit! Will we get taken down by Harmony Gold if I show this? Fuck.
Oh no. Oh no.
What else do you normally say? We do
Video games on
low
the
octane.
the sleeper
Video games on the internet, low
like
octane
not
gameplay.
low octane. That's what I was trying to remember. I was like something gameplay, low something gameplay, low octane gameplay. Man, okay. Well, I lose. There you go. Well played.
Yo.
Pretty much what he said. But yeah, we'll be doing more Monster Hunter World. We did in fact get over it at some point. Might have been still playing that every now and then, just because I'm apparently a masochist. But yeah, the MNG, capital N, lowercase n, capital G for clan ranked. So, oh, and here's another thing. Everybody's links. Wait, no, I think you did get that. Dang it. Everybody's links will be down in the description. All that
In the
stuff.
doobly doo.
I've got. I don't know. I'm just gonna go for it. YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Got a Discord. Come in there and chat. Have fun.
Instagram.
Actually, no. I need to get that set up at some point. So
Magnum, do you have? I mean, Emblem, do you have an Instagram?
I do. I have a few pictures on it too. I don't keep up with it.
No, I don't either.
Rip.
Follow me. There'll be no updates.
So anyway, let us know in the comments down below what you would like us to talk about. Like, comment, subscribe, all that if you're watching this on YouTube. Yeah, I think that's everything. So anyway, guys, that'll be it for this one. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Peace.
Later.